Hello survivors and welcome back to the Free Fire World Series 2023. It is week 3, day 2 of the competition and our second last day before we crown our grand champion for the year. My name of course is Danalee, and of course joining me is the wonderful, the mustachio AJ and Husky. Gentlemen, welcome back to the desk. We've got day 2 of Point Rush before the grand finals kick off tomorrow. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen today?
I think the Vietnamese teams are going to rise up and snuff everybody out because I'm high on some Vietnamese coffee.
Ooh, spicy.
I'm looking at Brazil to repeat the performance yesterday, right? They fell short of the first place finish, but they finished second and third, so decent points for them. I'm looking for them to maintain that consistency.
Yeah. Now, as you can see on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the tournament format. We finished the knockout stage last week, and we are now currently on day 2 of Point Rush. Tomorrow, however, is going to be the grand final. Now, what are the players playing for? They are playing for a big monetary payout. So the 12 teams that are still in the competition, they will get at least $25,000 US, but our champion will take home $300,000 from that prize pool. Now for Point Rush, this is what the teams are currently playing for today. So how this works is that their place, the overall performance today will calculate how many extra points they get going into the grand finals tomorrow. So the most a team can get from today is just 8 points. So there you go. That's what everyone's playing for today. We've got some tiebreaker rules just in case we are looking at some potential tiebreakers. We'll kick things off with the number of booyahs, then we'll compare the total eliminations, and then finally, if teams tie in both of the first 2 requirements, we will go down to survival ranks in the final round. So your performance in that last game, it could be what actually gets you through and not. Now, for extra points for grand finals, because of yesterday, we've already delivered our first round of points with Ffws taking home 8 points, and we'll be starting the grand finals with these 8 points plus whatever they earn today, and then of course Magic Squad are taking home the 6 in second place. Now I do want to remind everyone watching the broadcast, we have some official co-streamers that are also streaming the broadcast. AJ, would you like to introduce some of our co-streamers?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're a fan of Weeds Out, I have checked him out, and I would think you would be very, very silly to not hop onto his broadcast today because the guy is super funny.
It's great.
Yeah.
You know what else is great though, Husky? The game schedule.
Absolutely. Starting off with Bermuda, then we follow onwards to Purgatory, Alpine for map 3, Kalahari for map 4, Nextera for map 5, and then we spin the wheel for the second last time of this FFWS to determine where we will go for game 6. But of course, we gotta look at Ffws, right? The team that is currently, well, that actually topped the standings yesterday with an average elimination of 8.8, 6,000 damage in total, and almost a round of 8 assists per round. This team, on the back of players like Peter, on the back of supports like Cosq, has performed phenomenally.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And of course, their top player on fire with a 2.5 on the average headshots as well as 2.5 on the average eliminations. Might not look like a lot, but when it's stacked alongside the rest of his team members like Peter, it does of course amount to a lot. Magic Squad, on the other hand, representing Brazil, they finished second yesterday, Danny.
They finished second, and they were just 2 points away from actually being able to keep that top spot. A little bit unfortunate, but of course they can maybe make things up today and take that top spot for themselves. We've got Yago on the screen here, the top player for Magic Squad yesterday, and he has had a pretty outstanding performance for his team. I believe he's actually gotten both of the MVPs for Magic Squad.
I believe so. I think both
correct.
the MVPs went to Yago, and when you look at the head-to-head, you can see that Yago, when it comes to accuracy, is phenomenal, right? Hitting 1 out of every 4 shots. And because he plays in this sniper role, that 25% accuracy makes him so much more deadly. But when you look at elimination averages, On Fire is just on top of the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely, right? So 2 players, different roles. Obviously, the accuracy is not going to be matched up, you know, perfectly because one guy uses the Drogon, the shotgun most of the time, and yeah, the shotguns are going to probably have the lowest amount of accuracy in comparison to the M82B or the AWMs out there. PP19 sometimes is the favorite of On Fire, like it is for all of the other players out there.
Yeah, speaking of other players though, I mean, like, okay, what is it about Trogon that makes it such a good weapon in the world stage so far?
I mean, it is a grenade launcher, it's an auto shotgun, it's got high damage, it's got burst fire straight up in front of your face, headshot means instant knockdown.
It says everything. It's like a Swiss Army knife, and it can cut you, it can really damage you, and it just does everything, right?
Oh,
Long range, close range. it's probably one of the best weapons right now.
Like at this point, would you say that we could be looking at maybe some nerfs to the Trogon? Because the thing is, like, when you have a jack of all trade weapon that is able to do everything so well compared to some of the specialized weapons, like, doesn't that sort of feel a bit too good to have in a single gun?
So once you truly fall in love with Free Fire, this is the first thing you'll notice. They never nerf. They just introduce something more
just bring
deadly.
a new gun. Okay.
They never nerf a character. They just bring a crazier character.
Just
they
wait.
never nerf a gun. They just bring a crazier gun. Last time it was the Mag 7.
Oh
and then
boy.
out of nowhere comes the Drogon
you
because we had the M79 launcher as
Have you
well.
ever seen the Vector Akimbo? That was
No.
that was a trip, right? Just now we
Yeah.
also have Cobra stats on the screen. I think the past 3 majors he has finished at what? He was second in season 4, season 5 and 6, topping the chart, right? And attending the World's Play-ins last year because they finished first. I believe at that time AV Radical, or finished second, I believe. AV Radical actually finished first. So our ranking selection, I see some shifts for you guys.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, we're allowed to change our predictions, especially with how some of the teams performed yesterday, right? Like, I mean, it's understandable if we wanted to base some stats from the previous weeks, but I kind of think we are seeing teams just really adapt to what their opponents are going to be. We're starting to see new strats, right? Like we saw some teams start to really step into their own shoes and become much more aggressive compared to their previous weeks. Other teams toning it down a little bit, focusing on placement points. And I mean, we saw some teams that were considered underdogs really perform.
And obviously, the predictions will have to change mainly because the combination of teams as they met in the knockout stages is not similar to what we have here in the third week, right? This is a very unique combination of 12 teams, which does affect a lot of other factors such as their drop spots. I mean, I think that contributed to the number of crazy hot drops that we had yesterday, only because the teams just did not know what to expect. And I think that is another element that's just so beautiful about Point Rush. In the history of all of the Free Fire World Series, all the teams had just one day to go out there and figure it out, right? So it was all up to luck. It was all up to unfortunate circumstances that didn't allow certain regions to really take the cake. Because if they were given more time to prep, perhaps the story could have been different. And this is that prep time, right? Because yesterday, you know, chaos. Today, I expect that chaos to die down a little bit more and for us to have a tremendous finals tomorrow.
Especially when you look at the hot drops that has been happening throughout the
gosh.
entirety of yesterday, right? Like some teams were literally out for blood. You look at the Indonesian and the Vietnamese team, these two regions were not resting on their laurels at all. Like Poco Stars, Esports, GOW, every single round you see one of these teams go for a hot drop. Hopefully that changes today. I do expect them to be a lot more calculated, more systematic with their approach. I think Poco Stars also need to demonstrate that because yesterday was a horrendous day for them.
You know, Danny, speaking about hot drops, yesterday RRQ couldn't catch a break, right? Initially, I thought they were hot dropping people, but then I realized they just kept trying to find their own comfort spot. Every single map, all 5 of their games, they were hot dropped yesterday.
So do you think actually the fact that RRQ didn't perform as well as maybe some people anticipated, it was actually because they couldn't get that freedom of movement during the early game? It was interesting. Okay.
Then again, also, you know, some other teams were blessed with hot drops and they were 3 points for them, right? Let's just put it this way. Yesterday, just luck wasn't on their side. But today, of course, they are looking to make a little bit of difference as we kick this flight off into Bermuda. It's gonna be the first match of day number 2 of Point Rush.
And the craziest thing about RRQ is that they actually have the highest elimination count from yesterday. They had 50 eliminations. Right? And then their placement points is only 23. So you can clearly see which part is more focused for RRQ. They were, like AJ mentioned, right? They were constantly getting hunted down. They had a lot of really, really poor starts, but they were able to keep themselves afloat through getting elimination points that kind of compensated for them for their kind of poor finishes in most of these rounds. I think their best finish was like 2nd place, but that was round 1.
A great flight path this time around. The blue circle from yesterday in Katulistiwa has moved on over to Cape Town. And Cape Town was where we saw Esports and Thorad take the spot earlier yesterday. And Esports is going to continue to move towards Cape Town, whereas Thorad sacrifices it. Now, EXPS, they took Sentosa yesterday, and it seems like they'll be joined by a couple of players from Thorad.
I'm actually still worried about Thorad, right? I mean, they're spreading out for sure, and Quarter Tour is open, but you have North on the southern end, and this could be just free food. He did find a free vehicle. Hopefully he can get out of this. Already taken down though, so this is not good news. the fact that they are not hot dropping people, but they are spreading
Yeah.
out like this, you are still encroaching into other teams' territory.
I do believe they actually split because they saw Esports, right?
Yeah.
They thought, we don't want to contest with another team. But the fact that they didn't even drop together, like that itself is really bizarre. I mean, AJ, if you're a team, you see another team going into where you would like to drop, and then your team decides to make that split, like why would you make that call? Is it just to be more efficient with your looting? Or is there like another reason to do this?
No, sometimes you just go out there and you make a mistake, and clearly this was a huge mistake from Torad. Once again, I mean, I was able to clearly say where the teams were going to go. Their coach should have been able to tell them that as well, and they should have switched their drop spot. It's either you stick to Cape Town or you switch over to Carrollton or Mill. There's no way in hell you go down to Sentosa, because that's exactly where EXPS raked up all of the points yesterday. So clearly a terrible move from Torad, and they're getting punished for that.
We've seen this also, right? These two teams, PogoStars and GOW, both share almost identical drop spots. And this is why we see the exact reenactment of yesterday. But the result is a bit different though, at least for this opening elimination going over to PogoStars. So GOW will be set on the run. Tatsuya dash from 18 there, they'll back up a bit late from behind. Raz not able to confirm any trade, but was able to bring the members of GOW down low enough. Dian and Volley both in the red. Decon the only healthy member remaining, so maybe PogoStars can still clean it up. There's 2 extra points for them. Volley the last man left.
And this is the difference between a team that's not really thinking out their strats through versus a team that really learned from yesterday's hot drop lessons. Yesterday at Bima Sakti, there were 3 teams. They were joined by RRQ as well. RRQ said, nope, not again. And they were the ones to change their drop spot. GOW doesn't, and they get punished for it early.
Great recovery there for Poco. I mean, especially after what happened yesterday, this team is just wanting to really take advantage of that reset, get those points in, and give them their best chance possible going into that grand final. But look at this, though. So pretty interesting move from RRQ. Now, this is a pretty classic move from this team, right? Because they love to split up. They love to loot separately. It's not uncommon for them to get picked off and just constantly revive. Although against Loud, now this is not an ideal situation, and Legolas is in trouble.
Legolas definitely, I mean, it's a better start for RRQ. Rather than taking a hot drop, they take Mill this time round. But both Loud and Buriram were rotating towards the compound of RRQ moments ago. So it's going to be a little troublesome as Legolas gets a beautiful Max 7 delete onto Lost 21. Traded out by Mexico. It's a 1-for-1 thus far. And Loud takes over Shipyard.
Yeah, not the most ideal situation for Loud. That Lost 21 should not have even been secured by RRQ. There is a revival point at Shipyard, so Loud should be able to bring his teammates back. Don't even need it though. Vending machine from Mexico will do the bidding.
We have to look at the rest of their team members though, but of course we'll catch up with them a little bit later on. Graveyard, on the other hand, will have C-Triple-G as they rotate around. Yesterday they took a hot drop against Loud in Katulistiwa. They were going for that blue circle. Today they kind of shoot over that spot a little bit, reaching to Graveyard and playing the parameters of this battlefield. And we know this for a fact. Bermuda, if you take that middle drop, you're probably going to see a little bit more action. C-Triple-G preferring to get their loot first before they hop on in.
Hold on a minute, gentlemen. We've actually got 3 teams on the screen here. So we are still following C-Triple-G. We saw a rotation from Loud, and I believe RRQ also sort of poked their head in too. And it is going to be RRQ in Plantation. But is this a single player? Like, that's the question I'm asking.
No, he just got brought back.
So he just got brought back. But the thing is he alone or did he regroup with the team? Because
he's running towards them.
Like I said, same for Mexico. Though not sure how much info he will be able to give. He's actually on that launch pad. Can't depart in time, unfortunately.
Ouch.
Got shut down very, very quickly by On Fire. But that is some info for the side of Lao. They will give up their sniper for now. They gotta find another vending machine to get him back.
C-Triple-G ending day number 1 in the number 1 spot, which means they start off the finals tomorrow with a 8-point head start. Now, for some of you guys, you might be wondering, what? 8 points? One game can do wonders, right? But if we really take into account what yesterday looked like, that's pretty much what can happen tomorrow as well. The number 1, number 2, and number 3 spot. Like you said, Danny, at the start of the day, there was a difference of 2 points between the first 2 positions, and third place was just 6 points behind that number 1 spot. So, I mean, they are playing for the difference of 65,000 USD to 300,000 USD.
Exactly.
With that 8 points. So, this day of Point Rush is absolutely important, absolutely essential for whoever who wants to be champion tomorrow.
This fight is very crucial for PE Sports to somehow win this out. They have a knock on to Nero, courtesy the again. The support fire from afar today is sharp. No secure just yet though. Nero unfortunately ends up crawling Ekao, getting a good nuke onto New K. That's 2 of them down already. Ekal finding Don't Cry. That's number 3 of PE Esports. Completely shut down. And unfortunately for PE Esports, this could be the end of the road unless Hong An can get to the vending machine in time.
Let's see if PE Esports can get away, but I don't think they have a very clear exit here, unfortunately. Oh, Lozzie actually just missing that shot there, giving another opportunity to PE Sports to get that revive in. I think at this point, if you're PE Sports, you're sort of praying that another team is in the vicinity, and hopefully they'll be able to save you. But I think this might just be it, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, he's getting tagged up already. 3 players circling him. This is going to be the end because there's no way in hell how Ang runs away from this. He buys back his team! He gets knocked out, but the job is complete! What a play by Hao Ang! MVP-worthy moment.
That's
Job
all
done.
He needed to do. That's all he needed to do. He looked at the map and he realized that, wait, there's a vending machine. That's the destination that he needs to head to.
And interesting, we actually saw Drax actually going down due to fall damage.
There's a triple dash from Peter. Also, Lost Anyone wants to help out, but was able to get the resuscitation in time. Drax now needs to heal back up. Here comes the Trogon. The nade starting to connect, but both of them actually hit the edge of the glue wall, so no damage. Down cluster coming through. Lost Anyone basically taking a lot of the punishment, but Drax, he's peeking around the corner. Can they get on fire out of the way? It seems like they are able to retreat.
Off-screen, Expand facing off against PE Esports. Narrow taken out by Crime. The Indonesian addition to the MCPS squad. C-Triple-G, Thailand versus Brazil on the other hand. On fire, great flank. But he puts out a glue wall and everybody knows it's coming from the left-hand side. Kawan backs away with the Woodpecker. Cosque on the right-hand side, trying to flank them in. The pincer maneuver by C-Triple-G, but the connection's just not there. Circle leaving all of them high and dry as Cosque gets taken down by the Orion. Drax, great stuff. He circles around yet again, and C-Triple-G with a very weak execution of this bounce.
Yeah, and you have Mexico literally just shooting at C-Triple-G from the high ground, and Peter is caught in this 1v2. You gotta swing at the same time. Lost 31 to go first. The bait and switch. Peter wins the first one, but Drax was able to get the exchange. So very well done on the end of Loud. I'm not really sure if On Fire wants to be a part of this, with Mexico supporting his teammates from afar. On Fire also dropping low. That blue zone will also help to take him out. C-Triple-G losing 3 members.
C-Triple-G, it was a great idea, but the execution was just all over the place. And you can thank the A124 on the side of Loud as well for disabling them the moment they wanted to go in there for that critical strike. But now C-Triple-G, they're going for that vending machine. They want to buy their players back just like PE Sports. Can he pull a Hao Ang off? He gets there, but it's a 1v1. Drax reaches there at the same time as well.
He got it!
Drax! And he gets the purchase before being put down onto the ground. One more allows his team to survive.
Oh man, vending machine is so important. We've seen 2 teams do that. One was PE Sports, the other one C-Triple-G. But Loud, they have 5 points as a head start. And that means that for teams like PE Sports and C-Triple-G, they gotta take some time to get their arsenal back online. And it's not easy because we are, 9 minutes in already.
All right, we also have the leaderboard on the right side of the screen. We have Loud leading with 5 eliminations. Poco and Thored sitting on 4 eliminations apiece, whereas the rest of the competition sitting on either a single point or none at all. And we do have vision here of RRQ and Buriram. Now, RRQ are playing extremely sneaky here, with Legolas actually just going right along the wall.
This is exactly what Buriram wants, because RRQ, with the assistance of Expand, got rid of Buriram yesterday. So this will be sweet revenge on Bermuda itself for the 2-time world champs. In the meantime, Thorad taking the long way around. Second circle about to be the third, and the damage about to double up as well. Buriram from up top, RRQ down at the bottom. Will they sink them out of Bermuda and get that early revenge, or will this standoff take a little bit too long and get Buriram into some hot soup?
I mean, RRQ, they definitely are compromised. I think Buriram are fully aware that RRQ are on the low ground. Abe is already starting to be tagged by the BRU members. It's not going to be an easy way into the circle. Unfortunately, this low ground does not benefit them at all.
And I'm sure the Dinoculus was used from up top, so they do know that within this perimeter there are 8 bodies. And they know that they only have 4, so they'll have to hunt down the rest that are under the bridge. A couple of trolls in the name of RRQ players, but look at Poco Stars! Yesterday, miserable start, but this time, pretty comfortable, at least for the time being, in the middle of the next circle.
Literally
They're ready.
at crossroads as well. You do have Expand near them.
Yeah.
Expand was hanging around Keratin, so I think it's a pretty decent place to stop by and not having to move for now. Allow able to again reconvene with one another. They have a vehicle to go for this rotate, and they have to speed it up a little bit with the circle closing in. This is circle, I believe, number 3 already, so it is going to start to hurt. You see the Dinoculus used, going for the long scout. EXPS though gotta deal with Torad.
They back away, and EXPS not getting too cheeky with this, and Torad plays this one very safe, just trailing shots as they move back towards Keratin. Casper's not going to find much from that sort of a distance out of the Bison. The SMG, well built for those mid to close range engagements. A little bit longer, the Groza could have made a big difference for them, but of course, all what ifs at this point of time as Torad peels away from them towards Keratin. EXPS on the left-hand side. Expand now, going to be in a lot of trouble if they get spotted.
Sort of depends if Expand might be anticipating this as well. They know they're in the middle, so they should be expecting some teams to be coming within their vicinity very soon. But hang on a minute, gentlemen. We could be looking at a 3, possibly even 4-way with P Esports, unfortunately, having to try and circle around this. And Thorad might even be close enough to hear this.
Peter doesn't have any grenades to work around with Husky.
Yeah, and this is... He doesn't even have much glue walls, right? 3 more glue walls left, 2 more medkits. RQ have a good opportunity to really benefit from this chaos. And look at the circle. It actually favors both RQ and PocoStar. So the Indonesian teams are so far getting the circle right.
Oh my.
PRU basically trapped on the low ground. You have Don't Cry, who is sneaking behind them.
Yeah, Don't Cry
found out by
is
Norm.
definitely crying. Unfortunate for him. He spent so long smelling the feet of Buriram and kind of got kicked out right after. RRQ still comfortable in the next circle. C-Triple-Gs. I mean, there's way too many teams still alive at this point of time, man.
There's 10 teams remaining, 36 players as well, and we're already up to our 4th circle. So we're running out of space, we're running out of compounds as well. Some of these players are still playing on that bridge, and look at this Casper being taken down by Crime.
Yeah, great stuff from Crime MKS as always. So EXPS down to the last 2 members is Dew on one side, and they have not much cover to work with. Star also trying to find some sort of a leeway of a breathing room, but it's not given any. BRU now have to take on RRQ, and Legolov, he's not doing too well. The dash forward from Jonah on this Tatsuya, supported by Wasana as they're going for the rush. Those glue walls keeping them safe. Jonah wants to back away, but ends up getting taken down instead. Abe with the knock, but Jonah will be secured at least by Peter. The kill steal from afar to get high. Ends up losing his life as C-Triple-G just basically vouching on every single member of BRU and RRQ. It's a quad kill for Peter as this man shows up on day 2 like it has never ever rested.
What the hell, Peter? What a great bounce rig from up top. And now, with the LMG in hand, Kawan takes a couple of shots as well. Groza in the hands of one more. The whole team of C-Triple-G just farming from up top, and the circle is on their side. Loud doesn't want to deal with that. They move on under the bridge, and they have to deal with Thorad instead.
Definitely a better opponent to go up against. Lozzy is down. Look at all the damage numbers being popped out. Lau actually losing the battle. Courtesy of C-Triple-G just absolutely stealing these points away. North is trying to make a detour. The circle actually not favoring most of these members, but they can skirt around the edges if you are members of C-Triple-G. They're all walking in a line. This just could be the butcher house for a lot of these people.
Crime MKS takes the final player from EXPS out of the equation, giving them the 8th spot. Poco, 8 in Deer, snuffing out the players of Loud in a tight little corner. Peter straight into the face of trouble here. Bob's right in front of him. Peter, are you thinking this through? Mag 7 in hand. He needs to buy a lot of time for the rest of his team members, and he's facing up against the whole of Magic Squad. GU and the Drogon. Slow circle around. Good blue wall. Blocks away the damage. Another one joins him as well. And Mosque just bites the dust instantly.
Man, Boston one pump with the Charge Buster, just doing magic. And Peter is going to receive a lot of pressure right now. It's a 1 versus 3 against the members of Magic Squad. But Peter, look at that fancy footwork. He is juking everyone. Finally gets boxed in by GU, and Peter still wins that one. You cannot take on Peter alone. You need to bring help. And Magic Squad now finds themselves boxed out of this area. Yago getting pressured from another angle. Fives MKS will be popped. The song that does not save him, Poco Stars, have already fizzled out.
I mean, if Peter's not the MVP of the Free Fire World Series Bangkok 2023, I don't know what to say, man. This guy's on fire, and he's still gonna be a little bit tortured
He's still
because
there.
outside the circle,
Behind!
backstab!
Peter!
Peter once again, Yago down on the ground. One more player from the side of Magic Squad. Can Peter handle him? Yes, he does. Yago back down on the ground as Lozzie takes Axel out of the equation. Mexico finally takes North out, but Peter's alive and kicking. Thoret snuffs out the players of Expand out in the 5th spot.
Man, the Indonesia Thor at 15 eliminations. And look at Peter. He is still kicking. This man is undying. You cannot take him out. He's going to be able to heal himself back up and all these resources that he picked back up. Peter, but again, Bobs this time being challenged, and Peter puts his name on the kill list.
Peter!
Welcome to the show of Peter. It's 8 for this man.
Peter was born to play a good game of Free Fire. Now from up top, Peter the only
Oh,
one.
they don't see it.
Snipe from Peter, but the good glue wall. No more grenades to play around
Here he
with.
comes.
Peter takes the fall damage, 68 HP. One glue wall in front of him. Ice grenade's gonna be laid out first. Peter with the AWM in hand, Drogon as well, but Lozzie puts the end to him. Thorat wraps up with a total of 19 eliminations and the booyah. But what an opening game for the second day of Point Rush.
If there was a team that actually wanted to really pick up their play today, it had to have been Thorad. This team has been in the middle of the pack yesterday. They must be so happy to secure that booyah, especially with how chaotic those last 2 circles were.
Oh, yeah.
We had fights happening on the bridge, under the bridge. We had Expand at the other end, fighting in the compound against EXPS. Absolutely insane way to start the day here on Bermuda. But I think for Thorad, this has to be an amazing, emotional, and also confidence boost for this team, because yesterday they were shaky. You could tell that the team, they hesitated. There were a lot of decisions that they were very indecisive with. Maybe today is Thorad's day.
And hopefully it is. We were wondering where was Thor at, right? They had such a good reputation coming into the World Series, right? First Raiders Eclipse, formerly known as First Raiders Eclipse, and here they are as one of the best teams from Indonesia. They were the first seed. Even RQ Kazu finished second. So it's definitely good to see Thor get to a great start. I mean, they got like more than 30 points from one round. They even bring in Davis. I believe this is his debut on the world stage, right? They didn't play with him in the entire group stage. So maybe that's the dynamic shift you want to see from Thor.
But this is the exact problem that we did discuss about Thorat as well. Like you said, Husky, the old First Raiders Eclipse. And if there's one thing that's weak about them is the fact that they have some explosive rounds and then many, many somber rounds for us all to cry about, right? But there's one guy who's never having a down day, and that's Peter. Look at that footwork. Look at the crazy use of those glue walls. Nobody could touch him single-handedly, dispatching the whole of Magic Squad up on top of this bridge. And even Bob 7, this was a brilliant play once again. Backs away, waits for the shot out of the charge buster, and this was the second engagement with Bobs. Earlier on, he had barricaded himself in with the glue wall. He waited for Bobs to shoot down his glue wall before striking at him with the Drogon. I mean, Peter has just got 100% game sense when it comes to Free Fire.
Yeah, I mean, it took 3 members on the side of from Thorad to take him out, right? I mean, if it was like a 1v2, I think Peter had a good chance of winning. If Peter got to heal up at the end and didn't have to throw out the glue wall to block the cluster, there's a chance he could have won it. So that's another day. If you want a solid performing individual who has literally shown up for the entirety of FFWS up to this point, I think Peter is a good candidate.
Would not be surprised if teams are starting to come up to him with contracts and be like, hey, do you want to play with us next season? Especially after Worlds.
I mean, I love Dew. I love people like Moshi and all. They are great at, certain clutch plays, but nobody has showed up more than Peter in Bangkok this time around. I mean, the guy is just having a great run on the world stage.
Well, unfortunately for Peter, I don't think he's going to be able to get the MVP award that we so desperately want to give him. Like, if we could hand him the piece of paper and we could say, Peter, you've earned our admiration, you've worked hard, you've put the effort in. We don't get to make that choice, unfortunately. We will find out who will be getting the MVP later, but I am keen to see what Thorad has to say when we do have our interview session, because we haven't heard from them since yesterday. So, yeah, let's see what Thorad have to say, because our interview session is ready. Here we go.
Hello gamers, it's day 2 of the Point Rush stage and you're here with me, your host on Patira as always, as we're kicking off with the first winner. And now join us for a chat on the thrilling moments and the strategy behind the early success. Welcome and congratulations to Thorat!
Hello.
Congratulations! First booyah of the day and first booyah in the Point Rush stage as well. Are you confident that Indonesia team can defeat Thailand team in Free Fire World Series 2023? And what is your plan?
Apakah kamu yakin kalau kalian bisa menjuarai Free Fire World Series tahun ini dan mengalahkan Thailand? Dan kira-kira apa rencananya?
Kita pasti pede banget sih, bukan Thailand doang sih, pasti semua region kita bisa babat habis semua, gitu sih.
We are very confident that we can win the FFWS 2023, and it's not only Thailand. We will beat all the region.
Wow, I like the confidence. That's an attitude for the winner, right? And can you name top 3 most youthful active characters in your opinion and why?
Bisa nggak kamu namain 3 karakter yang menurutmu paling berguna skillnya dan kenapa?
1, 2, 4, 1, Tatsuya 1, paling sama satunya Orion. Karena di patch ini skill itu lagi OP banget.
So it's A124, Tatsuya, and Orion because all these 3 are very strong in this meta.
Right. And how many additional points your team aim to get in the point rush stage day 2?
Target kalian poin hari ini berapa?
Kita target poin tertinggi sih, top 1 intinya.
They are aiming to get the highest point today.
So best of luck and congratulations.
Thank you.
Give it up for Torad Lassie. It's such a round filled with triumph. Stay tuned to find out which team will secure the winner in the next round. But now back to you, Shoutcaster.
For Thorad fans, you gotta hope that this is gonna be the start of something new for the team because we've been waiting for them to really blossom. And this is only step 1. They've got to take a couple more steps to prove to us that they have that consistency.
5 more steps.
5 more
5
steps.
more steps. 5 more steps to get 8 points for tomorrow.
8 points
which
for
is,
tomorrow.
It's big,
yeah.
which is huge, which is
Well, you sort of want
crazy.
it to continue to tomorrow as well. You don't want a team to bloom today
Yeah.
and then just sort of peter out in tomorrow's games because tomorrow's games are where it really matters. But getting that head start, it is going to help you, especially if you're trying to aim for the crown of the tournament. But let's have a quick look here at our
Wow.
elimination leaders. Peter,
wow.
you please accept our MVP.
You always say like we always say that we don't want teams to peter out. You know who doesn't peter out? Peter.
Wow.
I've
I
been
mean,
waiting
this
for the
guy-
I mean, that
truly
joke petered out. So.
Okay, wait. So just to explain to the audience, yes, we shoutcasters on the English broadcast are constantly going against who's been selected as the MVP because we have our own personal selection based on performance out there when it comes to flare points, when it comes to style in terms of engagement and execution. But at the end of the day, how the MVP selection is made is from the team that picks up the Booyah, the best performing player from that team. So from that particular perspective, North is a deserving winner of the MVP title. The whole team of Thorad did phenomenally well here. I mean, double digits on the elimination and not even small double digits. We are looking at the high double digits, close to 20 eliminations.
Yes, the fact that
Insane.
North dealt like almost 4.4k total damage, right? Look
Yeah.
at that 9 assists. So this guy is on a roll, but this is kind of a once in a blue moon occasion, at least for a team like Thoraz. So
Yeah.
But
game
hold on a
1,
minute.
massive start.
We don't know if this is a blue moon yet. This could be a consistent full moon for the rest of today. But again, it's going to come down to
Sure.
Thorad, right? Can
Sure,
they
Danny.
keep this going? It's got to be positive for some of these teams.
Sure,
No.
Danny.
Regardless.
Statistics don't lie.
Yeah, statistics never lie. Thorad never lies. We've seen Thorad play like this so many times in the past, and we wish they could keep it up. Unfortunately, they have never been able to.
True, true. Although, interesting round here because as we can see on the screen right now, Vietnam
Yeah.
didn't do too well here, unfortunately, for game number 1. All 3 teams in 12th, 11th, and 10th place.
Yeah.
But hopefully we see a recovery for the region because Vietnam, they do have some really strong teams. It's just, unfortunately, they ran into some pretty unlucky teams.
They even have some good strong coffee, which they should try drinking.
And the coffee is definitely kicking in.
It's
definitely
kicking in for AJ, I can say that for sure.
on point.
On point.
But what a great game. I mean, I think today's first game really showed the determination of all of these teams, the sheer number of teams alive, close to the 5th circle, 10 teams still up and running. I think that shows that nobody wants to go down easy.
No.
But at the same time, when you look at the very end of things, with Thorad picking away 18 eliminations towards the end, that's the potential of what can happen if you have too many teams in such a tight circle.
Yeah.
We've seen teams that didn't make it from the group stage, right? We've seen like Osaka, Hotshot, MIBR.
Yeah.
All of these teams, whether they're positioning on the ranking, have pulled off big plays like this before. So it's fair to say that it comes down to the fundamentals more than getting just eliminations. But it also shows that the knockout, well, the point rush stage so far has been really testing these teams. What can you do when you're put in a situation where there's very little time to think? You have to act on your feet. I think Tora demonstrated it very well in round 1.
And I think another unique feature to Point Rush is that if some teams want to try something different, I actually think Point Rush is a safe system to allow this, to play a different style, to maybe explore something you've never explored before in an official format. Getting official practice is really difficult because you don't know in scrims whether your opponents are trying, if they are trying something new, and whether that practice is going to be beneficial at all moving forward. Now, speaking of moving forward, we are going to be jumping into Purgatory next. This is going to be our next map. Who do we think are going to be the prime targets on Purgatory? Our top teams that their opponents are going to have to put targets on their backs.
Quite honestly, everybody's got a target on their back, right? And I do resonate with your thoughts, Danny.
Wait, hold on. Look at Moshi. Look at the chain. Oh, damn, we missed it.
I mean, he's a millionaire, man. Your
Holy
two-time
cow.
world champs, Moshi, and MVP last year. He's gonna have that bling bling around
A
his
lucky
neck
chain.
for sure.
Holy cow. Man, even Drake's chain ain't that big.
Now, I totally forgot the point that I was gonna make. What were you saying before?
I'm going to say the coffee's kicked in.
No,
it was,
seriously. I was going to say something, but I totally forgot what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Therefore, I forgot my point.
It's okay. No, so I think the gist
You
of my
forgot
point.
too, didn't you?
No, I'm about to tell you. You're not giving me the chance.
Okay, tell me.
All right, so very quickly, I was talking about the quality of practice, teams being able to try something new in this format because it's an official competitive format.
I resonate with your thoughts, and that's exactly why we had so many hot drops yesterday, right? Because the teams are still trying to figure things out, and they have never been in this particular unique grouping before. We have teams from Group A, we have teams from Group B and Group C. Yes, they've kind of met each other, mixed and mingled around, but these specific 12 teams haven't dropped in here before. And based on their experience yesterday, I think it's already showing. Yesterday, Bermuda was disastrous.
Yes.
Today, Bermuda was so beautiful for game number 1.
I
And
would
they're
say-
already making good use of that.
Would you say it's like the teams really respected each other on Bermuda? Because if you have a lot of bloodbath early on, you can tell things are getting very rushed.
Correct.
Teams are thinking very quickly. They're not taking the time to consider what is happening. So respect is being built. We'll see if that respect continues on Purgatory or if we might see a bit of a scrap fest in that early section. I do believe you have your stats here open.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, do we have a couple teams that have conflicting drop points on Purgatory that we need to look out for?
Yes, we have many teams. Only 3 teams did not take a hot drop yesterday, and that was MGS, Torred, as well as Buriram. Everybody else, unfortunately, got stuck in a place where even C-Triple-G didn't have a hot drop, but everybody else did have a hot drop, right? So if you're talking about mainly GOW as well as PokerStars at Moat House, that one went disastrously. And at the end of the day, if you look at who it affected worse, obviously it was PokerStars who didn't really take away a lot from that game, right? So let's see if or not that happens again today.
And look at this flight path. It is leaning
my.
a little to the left side of the map here. And teams are starting to go for their drop zones. Hopefully.
EXPS as well as RRQ. Yesterday they met at Ski Lodge, and now the Ski Lodge is your high tier loot zone. So there's a high potential it drags them there again.
Depends on which member runs the Falco, right? This is a few times that it would be a bit more useful, but this flight path is not kind to a lot of people, especially if you want to go to Ski Lodge like RRQ. Look at that, they're switching the drop zone.
Yep.
You can say the same about C-Triple-G, they're not going, well, they actually are going down, but instead of going to Central, they're dropping at Lumber Mill. So there is a bit of a change, and Abe is going to quickly find out that there's a different team at Lumber Mill, so RRQ gets to adjust. But the two Vietnamese teams, PE Sports and WAG, they might run into each other.
This is exactly what happened yesterday, and this is where they say sometimes some people just don't learn. These exact 3 teams took a hot drop into Brasilia, and it's happening again. The last time we checked, it did not go the way of Expand.
Man, Wasana is actually on the chase. It could cause him to overextend though. I have no idea that someone is behind him.
Yeah, Wasana, you're not supposed to do the chasing. You're supposed to be doing the running.
It is Wasana, he's fine. He's probably going to get like 1 point out of this. We'll find out. Cosmo did draw first blood onto Abe though. But that glue wall is the only thing Wasana has. The jiggle in and out. Glue wall goes down. Wasana now basically back's exposed to 4 gun barrels from PE.
Yeah. I mean, I like the bravado. He was literally chasing down one guy from PE whilst being hunted down by 3 others, right? So that's confidence if you haven't seen some. Raz, on the other hand, will be shut down by Lozzie on the opposite side after Ekal does 90% of the work. That's exactly what you call teamwork.
That's actually a lot of action from the Indonesian teams as well. We're seeing Thorad, we saw RRQ losing one of their players. The revive did come back. We do have a right-leaning circle, so teams on the eastern side will need to make their way over to the right. Although we could still potentially see a water circle, we will have to see what happens for the next zone. But EXPS are actually heading over to Ski Lodge, and this could be problematic, Husky.
Yeah, and I think EXPS still wants to go for the high-tier loot zone.
Yes.
I mean, at least they only have one, in this case, Caramel. I believe Thorad is also nearby. And I think one thing about Thorad is also, we talk about them bringing Davis in for the first time. And that also means that the captain is not playing with the team.
Oh!
And that almost became a vehicular manslaughter case. Davis trying to go for 18 deer, catches him mid-air. It's an easy point for Thorad, and they might find more at Ski Lodge.
Yeah, great play from the guy. Brings the vehicle, smashes down the glue wall, hits 18 deer to the side. Tatsuya bursts through the other door.
Ffws is alone.
You need great map awareness for that. Davids finds another one, and a 1v2. Davids picks up yet another one for himself. And perhaps this is what is bringing Thorad all of that victory. Davids is on fire.
I mean, by taking out Poco Stars as well, so I mean, as much as we say Poco Star had a decent game 1, game 2 completely going down the drains. Caramel is now completely alone. So his teammates are coming though, but they gotta arrive a bit faster. Lozzy taking some time. That shot from Caramel would have been deadly, but Stop will find Lozzy from behind, and Thorad finds himself basically trapped in between the members of EXPS.
Caramel, Davids thinks that he has caught a sniper player. He did, but the guy also has a Trogon in hand. Caramel backs away. Opportunity, good glue wall by Davids. Put on some shoes, boy. Jumps around, Trogon, spots it out, F1887, gets a knock, but Caramel will find the drop on him. And that's exactly what happens when you get a little bit too cheeky.
Yeah, the differences in weapon as well. Yeah. If Davies doesn't find a knock, he is never going to win that.
Oh yeah.
I believe the XPS got 3 points out of that, so it means that Thorad is left with just one man.
Very unfortunate, because we've just had Poco get eliminated, Thorad with only one player left.
Two players, all right.
2 players, so a bit of a crippled team at this point of time. But we do see Buriram, pretty open field so far, not really running into anybody, so we'll just have to see whether it will be a quiet game for Buriram. Maybe we can check them out later on. But they got a pretty easy macro game. Looks like Thorad does manage to get Ekal back into that game, so they will have 3 players moving forward. Hopefully they can find a revival point to pick up that 4th. But there we go. Yeah. Full buyback. All right, Thorad is back to full.
BRE having a very smooth rotation so far. They just scan the compound with the binoculars, sees no one there, so they're going to move towards that particular location. Can't say the same for EXPS though, they are very much split.
Oh no, they might lose David here. I think Buriram should have spotted him. He has
was
no
going the right
idea.
way? Okay, thank
Oh, they don't know. I think they didn't see him.
Oh, one more just drove away. Oh, this man.
Super lucky.
What a lucky man.
He finds Famas out in the open as well, so great for that mid to long range engagement. And we know he'll make good use of that. Triple G on the other hand, straight in towards campsite. Thorad gets a good scan. Smart placement of the binoculars, and one more's going to go in there for the hunt.
Yeah, they found him. It's going to be a very, very long flank though. They find a bonus? Probably not. But Lozzy, well, you're on your own, buddy. Peter is coming for you. Literally 3 vehicles. I mean, what do you do as Lozzy? Probably try and find at least one trade.
And that's why the binoculars is so broken, man. I mean, it instantly gives away that information of your opponents to not just you, but the rest of your team members. And they swarm around him. Lozzy caught out. He barricades himself in just to waste their bullets, but it doesn't really work. 2 Trogon straight up against him. That's about it.
I think Stop also just saw Ekal driving.
Oh my
send
goodness.
out the UAV. Well, to the other side just to make sure that their 6s are checked. TR gets to walk out of that freely, but C-Triple-G, they have just turned up the heat.
Uh-oh.
Driving in, UAV sent towards EXPS. Casper in a lot of trouble. Stop outside the blue. He's gonna get caught by Peter. Drogon, they knock down his glue wall. Stop really low on that HP, and Peter will find that backstab as he flanks around the right-hand side. C-Triple-G sneaks one away from EXPS, and they cannot stop and fight. They choose to run away.
Hold on a minute. Looks like we've got 3 teams in this skirmish here. Buriram now stuck with 2 players. Esports in the fray. Oh boy, I think things are going to get very messy very quickly unless some of these teams disengage.
It's very impressive that both WAG and PE Esports took the hot drop against Expand in Brasilia, and neither one was pretty much scathed, right? They all walked away from this battle, and now Buriram walks into their defensive compound with just 2 people, but they're still making good work of them. Krillin goes down. It's going to be Jonah looking for yet another. Cyrus sprays him down from the bottom, but just can't find it, and Cyrus finally, with a headshot, puts him down onto the ground. Moshi's still alive and kicking, though.
A valiant attempt from Jonah. It was like 1v3 rush, so there's a very little chance he survived that, but Moshi is already gone, long gone to get his team back, and now we finally get to see a potential final showdown between WAG and PE.
Can PE find that opening, doing a good damage there onto Krillin. Krillin trying to get back behind his team. He needs to heal up. He really does not want to be within 1 bullet of just being eliminated from his team. Can't quite flank him out though, so it's going to be up to PE if they can break through or if they leave with a truce. The team looks like it's half-half, like they don't want to fully commit into this at all.
Yeah, because WAG got tagged up with the A124, which means no active, no passive skills. They have to back away. So they're playing super defense, erecting all of those glue walls, keeping PE spots out of their compound, and they're just waiting for the timing because the moment that wears off, and it already has, they're about to go in for the attack.
In the meantime, though, we did see Caramel off-screen getting eliminated by C-Triple-G, so we do have 2 big contenders going up against each other. And oh no, Ekal getting spotted. And David on the other side of the map being eliminated as well, but EXPS managing to revive 2 players. They managed to bring back a couple bodies to hopefully keep them in this game, but C-Triple-G running right past a couple of players here from EXPS. If EXP they can't recover here, I think this might just be it for their late game.
C-Triple-G is shooting an action movie so far. They are putting out all of the stunts with their vehicles. 5 points already in the bag. We are like almost 9 minutes in, and look at this circle. It is definitely one of the easier ones to work with. C-Triple-G are in a great position to eventually take control of the center.
Look at the eastern side though. We are actually seeing WAG still going up against Buriram, but Buriram trying to spread out. They've only got 2 active players left. Do not want to engage a full team.
They took a revive there, and they back away from that encounter. The rest of C-Triple-G still as aggressive as ever as they spot out Expand from across the battlefield. Safe inside the circle. They don't really need to do much except continue picking up all of the loot, and they drop by the bunker to see exactly what sort of upgrades they can get. I mean, they're just on a roaming spree right now, trying to tickle whoever they can find.
And C-Triple-G, I believe, saw Expand on the far end. EXPS spread out and very much crippled. Expand gets to avoid any sort of confrontation for now, but there is Toret on campsite. Toret, unfortunately, I'm busy dealing with RRQ. A bit of a fancy footwork coming out from Lozzy. Can't get it far enough away from RRQ, though. Just will claim that.
Another player from Thorad going down. Unfortunate for Thorad, this is really just a case of them playing like the rabbit running from the hunter.
This is typical Thorad, and this is exactly what we were talking about earlier on, and exactly why I said let's not expect those big rounds from them every single game, right? Because yeah, we're kind of used to this already.
Look at that circle. C-Triple-G got to be super happy with this, and even Expand in a really good position. RRQ, though, towards the south are going to have to deal with Magic Squad. Can they get rid of the Brazilian team there? Because Magic Squad have proven before that they are amazing in CQC.
And GU just completely blast through the extra shield from the Galossonia. So that's already 1 down. And look at all the glue walls being put out in tandem. Just layering it perfectly to make full use of the defense. Yes, they still need a bit of space, though. They are taking a couple of postures from the members of RRQ. GU completely backs off, and Butzin does the same. They're going to facilitate each other's escape, but unfortunately, Bobs catches a bullet in the skull, so that's going to slow down the tempo a little bit. Butzin arrives to help him out.
But
the revive is going to be there, though, as Legalov gets revived, and Butzin tries to shoot him out of the sky as MGS looking for an extra point.
PE Sports approaching from the back as well as Magic Squad gets pinched by RRQ. Has his eyes on Legalov. Here comes Don't Cry as well. UK pushes forth, and he's got the treatment sniper for that backup, but Abe gets sprayed down, and Hao Ang does get the confirmation stolen away. Hao Ang now with the drop onto Duds. Legalov taken away, and it is Magic Squad to steal that point away from PE Sports, but RRQ getting toasted between the 2 of them. The hunters become the hunted.
Yeah, MGS is about to take care of the rest of them. PE Sports taking majority of the eliminations. They're actually wiping out RRQ.
And saving Magic Squad as well, right? RRQ, they were so busy zoning out Magic Squad. If that pincer maneuver didn't happen, these that the squad would have been able to survive. But now it's going to come down to whether or not EXPS can actually zone out Magic Squad. Up north, though, we've got two teams going head-to-head, and we've got CGG waiting in the wings when this skirmish finishes. Can Loud break through God of Wolf?
This is an equal fight because Loud is the better team when it comes to the mechanical skills, but the circle pressuring the Brazilian squad. Izagot on the right-hand side. One player down on the ground. Mexico couldn't go in for the save. Lost 81 taken on Izagot. This is a equal 50-50 battle, but he gets tagged up by D Kwang halfway through first. D Kwang 50% on that HP. Lost 21 goes for the chase. Izagot uses the Tatsuya to get into a safer position and goes to the circle as well. Mexico way too far away to give them any sort of backup, and GOW maintains the advantage against the Brazilians.
What a tactical retreat from GOW as well. They are really making sure that they get to move closer to the circle without compromising too much of their position.
WAG!
Can't say the same about Cyrus though, unfortunately picked up in the skies by BRU. Nero tries to win this as PE Esports also comes in to grab a couple of eliminations, and that is going to be the death of WAG.
Yeah, PE Sports on fire this time around. They are cleaning up everybody they meet halfway through as they look for that next circle. It's 9 more seconds and they gotta start moving. Halfway through this land, they will have to fight Buriram for a safer spot in the next zone.
Yeah, Buriram should be able to pick up the pieces. A couple of extra points waiting for them. It's gonna be Drax out into the blue.
Bye, Drax. It was good knowing you, sir.
Nothing much can be done. I mean, they were caught in this fight with GOW for the longest of times. And look at that circle again. CGG having a lot of control over that.
We've got two Titans now going up against each other. Buriram and CGG. Now Buriram, they do want to get some points on that board. If they can get anything to go into that grand final, that's going to set everybody back on fire. Though, doing a little bit of work for the team. Wasana going down though. Stop being eliminated. This might be terrible, unfortunately, for Buriram.
I mean, BRU going for all these 1v1s, and guess what? They picked 4 1v1s and CGG won all of them.
CGG are literally on fire this game.
Peter is still on fire. Grime MKS, he will secure the elimination onto Don't Cry. PE Sports gonna feel a little bit troubled as they don't have one of their backup players. Narrow, Ice Grenade, and Magic Squad goes in to take advantage of that, and it looks like the Cobra Melters are doing a number on them. Butson has to back away. The smoke just a little bit too troubling for him. Too fast spots one on the right-hand side. Has got the Mag 10 in hand as well. M10-14, and the Brazilians have to run away now as Expand takes over this bunker.
I'm inclined to believe that that smoke was thrown by Expand because that covered Cobra's escape route and allowed them to come in for the collapse onto MGS. One of the few times you see that smoke grenade really put to good use by Expand.
Very, very rare out here in the game of Free Fire. Now PE Sports outside, too fast. M10-14. The first two pumps do not find great connection. How Ang with the throw gun. Bison in the hands of UK. Good glue wall. And here comes the rest of the players of Expand, just teasing out PE Sports. They know the circle is on the other side. Butson wants to get in as well, but he gets taken out by Dew from across the battlefield. UK has to back away with the rest of his team members, and Expand keeps their defensive spot. But to what use? Because the circle moving away, and now they are at a disadvantage.
I have to start running though. This is not going to be easy. Stop does get picked up by On Fire. Look at CGG. They're splitting in this 2-2 formation, guarding both edges of the circle. As Peter, he's going to confirm this elimination slowly just so he has more space to work with. Look at this position. So challenging for either PE or Expand to take control. But PE, they are down in the weeds with only 2 members left, and the blue wall is not helping them, especially when this blue zone is taking their health bars away too fast. Is on the ground. EXO is already out.
Expand doesn't have any time left. They have to move CGG. It will be their next contender right outside of their defensive compound.
Cobra!
And Cobra takes the backstab only for one more to 180 him out of the lobby. PE Sports, they are not going to stand this any longer, and Expand will follow suit as CGG makes it into the next circle. PE loses the final survivor, and Expand takes the second spot. There's no way in hell he takes that 1v4 against CGG.
A valiant attempt from Expand. They knew exactly what they needed to do. Cobra making the right decision, but not winning the fight. And it is completely fine, right? You need to take this risk. But CGG, what else can we say? Probably one of the best teams we have so far, man. It is fair to put them on par with Buriram at this point. We could be looking at a new Kings, and I would not put it past CGG.
You flex it, Peter. This guy deserves it. By now, he should have had 6 MVPs and winning the 10,000 USD hands down. But I know he hasn't given up just yet. It is very evident from his gameplay, Danny.
It is really evident. I want to bring something up here because I think teams are now going to have to start to realize C-Triple-G are in a very good spot to potentially take home the 8 points today, which means they will get that 16-point advantage going into tomorrow. Now, considering how strong we know C-Triple-G are, if you are holding back, you need to step in now and take those points away from C-Triple-G. Because if C-Triple-G are going to continue to play like this tomorrow, there's a good chance they're going to finish on top of the leaderboard. And with a 16-point advantage, let's talk about Buriram. You cannot afford to give this kind of advantage to someone that is going to be so close in skill to you.
Unfortunately, I disagree, especially because you brought up the example of Buriram. If you're Buriram, you can give them that and you can give them even more.
I don't
That's
know.
the thing.
I actually think Buriram are... I think they're kind of holding back here. I think they are saving some strats.
Yes.
But I mean, not fully saving strats. I think they are holding back. But I think we are expecting too much from this team. I actually think that's what's happening. Yeah, I actually think we are overestimating what this team can potentially do tomorrow.
I mean, I wouldn't say that it's just Buriram that's not performing, right? You gotta look at Titans like Magic Squad, EXPS barely picking up eliminations, and you see, you know, Esports picking up the 12, Thorad picking up the 18 earlier, and C-Triple-G ripping apart everybody this time around. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from their success, but I also want to say that some of the bigger teams are just waiting for their opportune moment to strike, and today's not the day just yet. You know, when you brought up a good point, an excellent point, Danny, that some of these teams are using the first 2 days of Point Rush as a litmus test to see what can work, what cannot work. The Titans, that's exactly what they're focusing on. They want to see what can work, how these teams are rotating, how are they playing their aggressive plays, and they will play their counter tomorrow. I know that for sure.
So what do you think the teams are actually doing for the first 2 days here, Husky? Like, do you also think the teams are experimenting, or is there something that you're sort of seeing that we haven't brought up?
I mean, there is room to experiment on day 1, but I think day 2, this is probably one of the few rare times I disagree with AJ's stance. I think there's room for experimentation, but I also feel like you have to start stepping up a little bit, right? Putting expectation in a team to just win it all in 1 day is how Free Fire World Series has always been, but I feel like there might be a bit too much to expect, right? I want to listen to what C-Triple-G have to say in this interview.
Absolutely domination in the second round, and now it's time that we welcome and chat with the true star in the earlier match. Welcome CGGG Peter! Congratulations for another booyah in the Point Rush Stage Day 2. Yesterday, CGGG was the one who had the highest additional points. Will your team do that again today?
เมื่อวาน CGG ได้คะแนนมาเป็นอันดับ 1 วันนี้คิดว่าจะทำได้ไหมคะ
ก็คิดว่าทำได้นะครับตามฟอร์มที่เล่นอยู่ตอนนี้ก็ชิลครับ
He think he can do it if we keep playing on track like yesterday.
Right. And what is your best character combo to mix with Tatsuya and why?
คาแรคเตอร์ตัวไหนที่เอามาคอมโบกับทัศยาแล้วโหดที่สุดคะเพราะอะไร
ซานี้ครับเพราะว่าเวลากดสกิลแล้วมันได้เกาะเพิ่มอีก50ครับ
combo with Sani because when you activate the skill you grant additional 50% shield.
Right, so that's a trick, guys. You can use that trick. And who is the weakest team in your opinion right now and why?
คิดว่าทีมไหนน่ากลัวน้อยที่สุดใน Free Fire World Series ครั้งนี้คะ
ก็ตอนนี้ถ้าพูดตามฟอร์มก็11ทีมก็น่ากลัวน้อยหมดเลยครับ
All 11 team are weakest in his eyes.
Wow, I like that. So powerful, so intimidating. And lastly, any lucky charm you're carrying with you right now?
มีของนำโชคอะไรที่พกติดตัวมาไว้บ้างไหมคะ
ก็เป็นกิฟต์2อันนี้ครับที่อยู่กับผมตั้งแต่โปรลีกเกมแรกจนทำให้ผมมาอยู่ถึงทุกวันนี้ครับ
Okay, these 2 clips that he kept since the Thailand Pro League Season 1 and he believed that it make him come here.
So it's something that carry with you and you trust that it will help you in the tournament, right? So congratulations and best of luck in the next round. Anything you'd like to say to your fans?
มีอะไรอยากฝากถึงแฟนๆไหมคะ
ก็ฝากเชียร์ CG ด้วยนะครับเดี๋ยวทัวร์นาเมนต์นี้จะทำให้เต็มที่ครับเดี๋ยวจะเอาแชมป์ไปฝากครับ
Please support us CGG. We will bring the glory to Thai team.
Thank you to CGG Peter. Give it up. And I guess you guys wondering who will secure the winner in the next round, right? So stay tuned. Be right back. But right now, back to you, Shoutcaster.
Well, at this point, C-Triple-G is keeping the Thai dream alive. Maybe Buriram might be the next champion, but the next champion would still be from Thailand, although we
least
do
that's
know...
what they think.
That's what they think. Yes, I do agree, because Indonesia as well as Brazil, these two regions, extremely hungry to take this crown back to their home countries as well. And I think they actually have a good opportunity to do it. But the question is, can these teams actually play stable enough to be able to outplay Thai teams? Because we've seen before, right? The Thai teams...
Peter, again!
It's Peter. This guy is like literally the king of consistency, right? The Thai teams are extremely consistent, whereas Brazil and Indonesia, they flash hot and cold. And this is something that you have to worry about going into the grand final. But in the meantime, let's take a look at our MVP for the round. It is Peter. So he finally gets the MVP award. I know AJ is a little bit shocked there.
No, I'm not shocked.
You know what I want to say? I feel like if they keep up this performance, there's a chance, there's a very, very minor chance that Peter might get enough MVP titles to surpass you, and then I would not be surprised.
That would have already happened if we were given the opportunity to pick the MVP.
Sure.
But unfortunately,
no,
that didn't
you see, here's the thing. There might be a chance, but unfortunately, it is not the case right now, because I think this is what his third MVP title, and Dew's already on 6, right?
6.
So it's going to take a little bit more effort, and it's just a matter of time before EXPS starts waking up in the competition again, man. And I'm not too fussed about this at all, because I know Garina's listening. Probably next year, Free Fire World Series, we're going to have 2 10,000 USD prize pools, right? Like one's like best player from, you know, the Booyah team, and another one is like outstanding player of the year or something.
It should be caster selection.
Caster
selection.
English broadcast caster selection.
Guys,
Thank you
you're
very much.
giving us too
You're
much
welcome.
power. Let's not.
You're welcome, Garina.
It's too much power.
I was looking through the data of C
At no extra charge.
And no,
At no extra
At no
charge.
extra charge.
Jeez. All right, so let's have a look at the overall standings to see where our teams currently stand to gain these points for tomorrow. Because I think at this point, the team everyone's thinking about, C-Triple-G, very likely to be sitting at the top of the leaderboard. But we do need the confirmation. They are now on top with 46 points. The next best team is Thorad with 37. This is a huge start for this team, considering we've just played 2 games.
I want to quickly bring out the fact that this is C-Triple-G's second Tier 1 event in like 4 years of the organization being formed, right? And the first Tier 1 event they participated was like Asia Championship. 2 years ago, they finished second. So as an organization, this is probably one of the most improved organizational performance in a Tier 1 event, in a competitive scene of Free Fire. So I think C-Triple-G has to be very, very proud of what the place has achieved so far. And judging by how consistent they are, I think they still have a lot more to give.
Second Tier 1 event, first world stage appearance. And to perform like this on their very first world stage appearance is insane. But we're going to take a quick short break. When we come back, more Free Fire World Series action.
Hello survivors and welcome back to the Free Fire World Series 2023. We've just wrapped up our first 2 games of the day, meaning we've got 4 more to go. My name is Danalee and of course joining me is the wonderful, the mustachio, AJ and Husky. Our next map for today is going to be Alpine, and we do know a couple teams enjoy this map, want to get some points on this map, but can they? And also at the same time, can anybody challenge Ffws? Because this was the team that came out very quickly yesterday, swiped the 8 points from themselves, and are now leading with, I believe, 11 points over second place, which is Thorad. And the chance of Ffws taking 16 points head start into the grand final is really high. So if someone doesn't put a target on their back now, I actually think that this team could run away with everything.
Yeah, I actually wanted to add on to that, right? Because when we did kind of agree that 16 points is not too big of a deal, but if you put it in a scenario where you have a team that is just so darn consistent and they get that 16 points, it's a completely different ballgame, right? They could
16 points is like almost a booyah round.
Yes, and I think in the hands of a team like Ffws in this scenario who are already that consistent, they could just run away with it, right? You get such a good cushion for them. But I also want to look at the head-to-head between these two men, Bobs, 7 and Dew. Obviously, Dew are the current MVP title holder, but Bobs is also not someone that you want to mess with, right? I think the numbers don't do them complete justice because Bobs plays a slightly different role compared to Dew. In comparison to the individual performance, Dew just has a lot more moments where he is kind of 1v2ing, 1v3ing his enemies.
Yeah, I kind of noticed this all throughout the world stage. We have just been comparing 2 different roles, so the numbers are definitely not going to match up each and every single time. You're going to see a little bit of disparity there. So it may look like Bobs is the weaker player, but in a CQC, Bob's going to walk away with the elimination.
And Dew, I think as well, we have to consider that Dew is playing a role that gets a lot of support, right? You've got your team in front of you. You're generally protected.
Correct.
And so you're going to get the damage in. You should get the headshots. You should get the accuracy in. So like it's very easy for Dew's stats to look fantastic.
And he's a sniper. I mean, you don't spam your shots. You're not like Bob's running around with a shotgun. And once again, the shotgun accuracy is the lowest in any game of shooters. And obviously, the sniper is going to be... Well, if you've got good aim, it's going to be at an all-time high.
Well, I mean, that's how it should be. Like, if you can't aim, like, why are you sniping?
Look at the guy with his diamond Moshi play.
That is crazy. I do not believe that I've seen any pro player across any other title that is successful, is accomplished, and has a chain like that. This guy wears it on his chest, literally.
And that's why you got to play Free Fire if you're a competitive player.
That is crazy. I mean, the place has a cool drip.
Oh god, heck yes. Definitely.
So anyway, actually, I want to touch on one point as well, right? So earlier, Husky disagreed with me. Here's the weird thing. For the first time in the history of Free Fire, I agree with Husky and his disagreement because it really could go either way. The 16 points, if picked up by Ffws, could make a world of difference from maybe 4th spot to becoming champions. At the same time, we know there's so much of quality in some of these teams who are not waking up. You're talking about Magic Squad, EXPS, Buriram, who could do so much of damage out there but are still asleep. And the whole world of difference could be made in just the single game that starts off at Bermuda tomorrow.
It could be, right? We really don't know until the games kick off tomorrow. So we'll have to see what happens. In the meantime, though, we will be focusing on our 3rd match for today. We are going to be loading our players into the aircraft and flying into Alpine for game number 3. Is anyone going to be able to challenge Ffws and maybe even dethrone them this round? Because unless someone does it really soon, Ffws could very likely run away with 16 points going into the grand final. That's going to be kicking off tomorrow on our Sunday Championship Day. Alpine, here we go. What's his flight path going to be, and who is it going to benefit the most?
3 hot drops yesterday at Militia between Loud and WAG, EXPS Matt Poco at Rivermouth, and Basecamp shed a hot drop between GOW as well as RRQ Kazu, and a very decent flight path might just set us up for a couple of hot drops once again if teams have not learned their lessons.
Now, assuming we follow your chart here, AJ, this high-tier loot zone is going to be so good for Buriram.
That is correct.
Nobody contested them yesterday. But it looks like Thorad,
they
are flying into Garrison. No, they're flying into Garrison.
I don't think they will.
So Buriram is going to get free high-tier loot, which I think is actually scary. This is going to actually make them a very big threat moving forward.
And this is just gifted by the game because, like you said, this is exactly where they dropped in yesterday, and the blue circle is now gifted to them for free. They just go back to a spot where they are very comfortable on to take the fight later in the game. But Militia is going to be found by WAG and Loud, and I absolutely disagree with WAG doing this, because Militia is the kind of place where you're going to find a lot of weapons, and it's the kind of area where you want to go to mid to end part of the game because of how much of advantage you can give away to the other teams, looking at the high ground that they've got there, right? And Loud clearly wanting all of that high-level skirmish, but they're going to be on the receiving end, unfortunately. So WAG taking a negative and turning it into a huge positive for themselves.
Kawan at least was able to get Cyrus down, but they need to get a lot more done than just that. It's between him and Drax. He's going to get the Sonya, no reset for Dolphin, so at least Drax gets something, but I think you need to start evacuating Kawan right now because GOW is showing up, and if Kawan doesn't get out of here, there's a huge chance that Loud gets knocked out first. Drax is already down, there's not much time left. Kawan, I feel like he's caught in a very, very tough position.
Yesterday, it was Loud that took the victory away from WAG. WAG walked out of the lobby with only 5 points thanks to that early skirmish and that hot drop. But now they are the victors. But with GOW visiting Militia as well, this looks like it's going to be a tad bit risky for WAG. That also gives an opener for Kawan to get a little bit further before Cyrus puts him down and out of the round.
There's nothing they can do. I mean, the UAV actually scanned him, I believe, from WAG. But there is an X factor that I think we haven't really considered. If we look into tomorrow, right, we said that, if CGG gets 16 points, there's a huge chance they ran away with this, and there's a lot of expectations for teams like BRU. But you also have to look at teams like PE, RRQ, right, and like WAG. There's a chance they just go ballistic and start hot dropping you. That could alter the outcome of a single match.
50-50, Husky, because, hot drops don't necessarily go your way, especially if you're going to hot drop a bigger team, and if they take away the first initial knockdowns, then you're going to give them a huge boost on a day where points matter the most. Not saying that points do not matter today because of your head start points, but tomorrow, obviously, you keep each and every single point that you collect from those lobbies.
Every point counts, especially for the teams that are going to struggle to get those points tomorrow as well. So if they can get it now, that'll be great. Although Abe not going to be in a great spot as he does get sniped down and eliminated by Don't Cry. So that's another point going in the way of PE Esports, who did have a bit of a struggle earlier today. So kick things off with 5 eliminations. That's going to be great. 5 points on the board, but can they get those placement points?
RRQ manages to get to a vending machine, and once again, man, they start off the day with hot drops, and things haven't changed all that too much. So the coach of RRQ really needs to sit down in a room all by himself and think about his decisions here, because the team should be able to avoid the other squads like a plague this time.
Well, that's the dream at least.
I mean, they should. Everybody else is able to do it.
Well, apparently for RRQ it's not. And I'm wondering, what's the methodology that they're following right now that is not working, right? Because clearly something isn't working for RRQ. But at the same time, we're not really seeing much change from the team to fix this problem.
No, I think they are, when you ask for God, when you ask for something from God, God usually gives it to you. It's just that you don't realize it, right? Sometimes we have wondered, what if one team hot drops everybody else? Yeah, that's RRQ. They're constantly hot dropping everybody else, and they're showing us that, you could walk away with some eliminations, but it's not going to get you to the top of the leaderboard. So if you're talking about, using the point rush as an experimental phase before your grand finals day, RRQ is actually making great work of that. Hopefully they do learn from this experience, though.
And I think right now, BRU actually not doing the best as well up against Thorat. At least there is an even trade. Wasana needs a bit of help. The clusters come through. North will secure that one. Get high. Finds a 1v1. Actually beats Losty with a Trogon. Just a one pump in his face would do the job. BRU having 3 members left. GOW with a straggler very nearby, scouting out this entire scuffle, and Thorat that ends up losing more members.
1-for-2 trade. So Buriram lucks out on that engagement with Thorat, and both of the teams peel away from each other. And this is how you know Buriram is not being serious in the lobby. If this was serious version of Buriram, you are not going to see Thorat out down the battlefield. They would have pursued and they would have gotten those points.
Interesting take. We'll have to see if that's going to be Well, at least if we're going to see any kind of change, I guess, from Buriram. Because for me,
Yeah.
right, I think we all have expectations for this team. Like, they're champions for a reason. They are extremely skilled. We saw them during the league stage, the group stage, excuse me. And they proved to us that they are a very mechanically gifted team. Like, not just the individual play, but also just the way that they actually strategize their late game positioning. Nero trying to get those shots in and finish off that final player. Poor Thorad. This game has been really difficult. If the team gets eliminated here, they're very likely to drop from that second spot, even though they had that 30-point booyah earlier today.
Remember the once-in-a-blue situation? I think we're seeing it happen, play out right in front of us. Literally, not just for
Unfortunate.
Thoret. I mean, same for RRQ, who yesterday was able to, kind of surpass the odds, right? They survived primarily by getting eliminations, but that is not going to work every single time. And clearly, you can see the teams have adjusted to it. And to say that RQ is still experimenting, I think it's less true than you would like to think it is. Because if that's the case, then it should have been working out for them. But clearly, it isn't.
God of Wolf.
So it's either they are making a sound decision, at least they think it's a sound decision, but they're getting it totally wrong. Or
teams have figured it out.
I think they just, or they're experimenting, right? It's really one of the two. It's really one of the two. I mean, they're just purely going up against the other teams. Yesterday, they had the most number of eliminations, but nowhere close to the top of the board. They were somewhere around the middle, and that should have taught them a heavy lesson. But if they're not changing anything today, that clearly shows that they're not being very serious about getting to the top of the leaderboard. But EXPS is, as they shut down one by one the players of GOW. Dian, good jump away as he does drift away. He does drop one good glue wall. Traded out by Stop and Caramel as they gang up on him, and EXPS very easily overcome GOW.
It was never going to work for GOW, but they didn't really have much of a choice. Poco Stars now up against Expand, and of course Raz, he does have a little bit of an advantage with the vending machine, but the blue zone will render that invalid very quickly. Too fast out on the rush. Receiving some backup from Cobra, fights MKS, keeping them at bay as Expand starts barricading this vending machine to get themselves some sort of space to work with. Raz dropping low, Cobra just dashing in and out with the Tatsuya. This guy is dancing around the bodies of Poco Stars as two of their members start to drop. Raz will be confirmed by Cobra, 18 deer drops, Coscu shows up. Is Liam gone? And with a bit of help from C-Triple-G, Poco Stars are wiped.
And Too Fast didn't get taken down all throughout that, even though he only had about 10 HP left on him. Axel, the headhunter in the game this time round. But look at this.
Oh,
It is going to be C-Triple-G, the Thai players, looking to take Expand down and out of the equation, taking advantage of the fact that they just came out of a good heavy engagement.
Whoa,
MKS sprayed
Crime!
down. It's one more and the headshot out of the M82B. Peter circling around. Max 7 auto shotgun, but a good glue wall response coming on through. And there's no takedown onto Axel just yet. Glue wall melters by Peter, waiting for the glue walls to come down. And the Max 7 is on the ready. A double pump, but the Tatsuya saves Axel's life. And another good glue wall keeps Peter away.
Yeah, Axel was able to buy Prime MKS away, and now Expand are just on survival mode. Everyone else falls. And it's going to be Crime MKS once more to be the last man to keep the team alive, because Too Fast, he's trying to run away, but C-Triple-G on the case already. That truck is already burning. Too Fast only has his feet to rely on. Peter goes in for the rush. It's team against Too Fast, and of course Peter wins that one.
I'm in total disagreement with Too Fast continuously picking up the M1014. A Drogon, or I mean, I wouldn't go for the Mag 7, but against the M1014, pick up the Mag 7, sir. But a Crime MKS, the Indonesian once again keeping the Malaysian squad alive. One of the best imports if we have ever seen one on the world stage.
It's going to be a tough game for Crime because the man is absolutely poor. He has nothing to his name. His entire team is gone, so hopefully he can find an empty revival point. But I think in this match in particular, it might be quite difficult to find one where he can just get that full team revive. We've got P Esports, however, with 8 eliminations to their name. This team has woken up today, especially after their performance yesterday.
You know, the story about Expand is truly inspiring because this was a team that was full of male ego from the very start. They had a star player in the name of X-Roy. They just could not see eye to eye. The players just didn't want to work with each other, wouldn't even listen to their captain at times. And all because, you know, everybody in the team was good, right?
Oh, there it is.
Once they got removed, and once they brought in the greatest export of all time for MCPS, the one and only Crime MKS, time and time again, they have been able to make their way back in here. Now, Buriram gets a scan on to Expand, but the question is, where is Buriram? They are a little bit too far away, though, to take Expand out of this equation. They can gatekeep them if Expand takes too long outside the circle.
One of the most unfortunate scans of all time. Expand gets the mass revive and they parachute into the binoculars of BRU. But I think BRU are not too worried about that. They need to go into the deeper into the circle, so Expand dodges a bullet just for now, but they don't have much time to gear up for the final push.
I do hope Expand actually decide to change their path going into that circle, right? Because if they go directly north, they're just going to run right into Buriram. They need to actually head to the western side because there were very few teams there, but oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Buriram actually found Cobra. Oh no, and Casper's gone down as well. From EXPS, we're seeing multiple teams and multiple players being eliminated on the other side of the map here. Esports actually going to stick their nose into this fight as well.
EXPS sneaking away, they're knocked down by Nero, and Nero wants that revenge, but Hao Ang is going to be teased out in the open, and he bursts away with the Tatsuya into a safer spot. Great play with his active skills. Caramel as well as stop circling on in. Abe can gatekeep view as Esports gets away, but it doesn't seem like RRQ wants to make a lot of noise since that is the only player from the squad in front of them.
Yeah, EXPS really starting to pump in some chip damage onto PE Sport. That is going to start forcing out a couple of medkits and glue wall from them as well. Abe just staying still. It's not even breathing much.
I think, if anything, some of these teams have to hold their breath because we are running out of space here, Husky. 9 teams still remaining. The lobbies today have been extremely respectful. Yeah,
Legolov is trying to somehow reach his teammate, but Dew just landed 2 shots towards him, and Legolov is not looking too healthy either. PE Sports, though, it's going to be pursued by EXPS. Caramel is in the red. Stop comes in, swings the corner, finds the knock, and EXPS not only finds the elimination, but also got Casper back into the lobby. And PE Sports, they need to clean themselves as fast as can. They start getting ganged now by 2 members of PE Sport. Tries to go for the 180, cannot find it, and Caramel not able to provide any backup as he ends up getting walled off by PE Sports.
Caramel with the Drogon backs away, but the grenade finds the connection onto Nuke. No elimination just yet, though. Casper barricades himself in, UMP in hand. Can't get to the other side of his own glue wall to take down the players of PE Sports. Now he's going to be squeezed in a tight little corner as he gets knocked down. Hao Ang from outside manages to get 1 knock onto Casper. Doesn't go for the elimination. Chooses to buy back Nuke instead. Big brain play from Hao Ang.
And Caramel wants to do the same. I mean, so much grenades. He has used the last of his reserves. That glue was not going to stand for long. If Caramel wants to make a play right now, it has to be fast. 1,000 gold in his arsenal. He's going to bring back 2 of his teammates and try to fight this out, but there is no possibility. I mean, PE Sports are just farming points right now. 11 for them.
Someone from Expand is just waiting right outside this compound for the access to the vending machine to buy back the rest of his comrades who have been taken down and out of this equation. Buriram, on the other hand, finding C-Triple-G. This is the battle between Thais and Peter backs away. Wasana on that left-hand side flank. Jonah approaching from the right. 1 more backs away with the M82B, but the guy doesn't have any sort of corner to work around with. Coscu with a grenade launcher forces Buriram to back away. They know that they don't want to take this fight just yet.
Yeah, with Jonah down low, I don't think Buriram wants to continue this. They need to take a bit of time, and they know that they have the circle on their side.
I don't know, Husky. I actually think this might just be it because we've seen last time, right? Every time Buriram decides to step back, C-Triple-G just steamrolls them.
Get was able to get the first one, finds the flank. Get does get traded back to Coscu with the grenade launcher in hand. Absolutely lethal. What a drive-by from Wasana. But On Fire will also get the exchange. C-Triple-G and Buriram trading bodies.
Yeah, they are keeping a good play against each other. The players on the side of Magic Squad have been scanned out, potentially by the players on the side of PE Sports. Buriram survives to make it into this next circle. On Fire still checking them out from the back, but 1 more gets confirmed. And On Fire finally taken out of the equation, all thanks to WAG, which means Buriram gets a breather, but they can't wait around out ceremony. 12 more seconds, the circle starts to move, and they don't have a safe spot just yet.
Oh, look at that circle, Husky. Dead center, and you don't actually have any cover there. So teams are going to fall back to that macro game. You need to make sure you have those glue walls ready, because if you don't have them and you haven't got your macro game, you're going to have to borrow some walls from these other teams. And look at Yago doing well for the team.
I mean, Magic Squad are in the best possible position. Look at this. You can say the same for Thorite, right? Iko and Nov, they are just perching on top of the windmill. Not sure, for long though. Don't Cry somehow knocked down, but Jonah finds New K. Jonah also confirms don't cry, BRU, not going down without a fight. The grenade is going to come in. Jonah walks himself away, still gets chipped though. Can't say the same for Moshi. Absolutely blown to smithereens by Krillin.
Yeah, Moshi out of the equation already. The circle's going to squeeze Jonah in a very tight spot, and this is not going to be something that he can tank. Jonah needs to get away from trouble. How I'm getting tagged up by 2 players on the side of Magic Squad, and that M82B not making that situation any bit easier for him, as those glue walls provide no cover whatsoever. Buriram should expire to the circle here as Hao Ang bleeds out. Jonah low on that HP. Ice Grenade takes him down a tad bit as Jonah gets knocked down. Yago confirms it. Magic Squad stealing that away.
Magic Squad against WAG. This is a very good chance for them to really get some point injections in for Brazil as well.
Not just that though, Husky. Remember, we've actually got 2 players of Thorad on top of the windmill, so they actually could be the X factors to actually disturb this next team fight.
I mean, I'm not sure how much it will matter because they had a sidearm and Nor has 5 HP, but you're right, maybe they could do something. But Magic Squad are already engaging with WAG. Bob's very far in the front line. Yago trying to find an angle to support this man as the glue walls are getting dropped down. Puts in down to his last 2 glue walls. Trying to go for a flank on the Ghost. Will find the shots, but not enough to bring the Ghost down as the Ghost was able to retreat. And now they will have a frontal confrontation. Sonya gets Pop GU the first to go, but Putin comes, swings around the corner and fights 2 for his own. Dolphin also gets knocked down as Putin is dragging MGS across the finishing line. WAG did not stand a chance. It's just down to 1.
Thorad
Cyrus
down.
against the world. Thorad now joins the fight. North is on ground floor. Ekal by his side, but Magic Squad, they have the superior numbers and weapons. Can Thorad really sneak this away? Bob trying to look for the last man on the side of WAG and will find it. Thorad will also go down. It's 12 for Magic Squad and a booyah on top of it.
Both Thorad and WAG picked up only 2 points from this map yesterday, so today getting into that final circle is a huge win, but of course the biggest win going over the Magic Squad, who went into that final circle with a massive number of eliminations and continued to be the champion as they walked out of it.
They're looking forward to actually taking back that first place after having those 8 points swiped away by Triple G. We'll have to see if the Brazilians can pull it through today and make Brazil proud.
And also, this is a back-to-back booyah for Magic Squad on Alpine. Yesterday, they scored 12 eliminations and 12 points from the booyah. Today, they obviously claimed the 12 from the booyah. I didn't manage to see how many eliminations. 12. Okay. 24 points yesterday at Alpine, 24 points today from Alpine. If you're looking for good consistency, I won't go any further.
Oh my goodness, Magic Squad. This might be the X Factor team that could be challenging Triple G to grab those points, but let's hope they don't fall back to that 2nd place curse, right? Because I think we did mention this, we mentioned this yesterday. Magic Squad, they have fallen prey to what has been known as the 2nd place curse, where things look good for them, but just at the last moment, they sort of lose that 1st placing and end up in 2nd. So I think Magic Squad, they're going to have to realize what happened in those games yesterday. They played very consistent, at least very great in this game, right? They approached that late game fantastically. They had their teammates' backs. They were very aware of who they went up against, and they didn't really give Thorad that opportunity to surprise them.
And, you know, looking at what Expand did earlier on, right, the team has clearly been struggling. And I don't think they have been helping themselves all that too much because of their drop spots, right? They keep taking, you know, areas that are not very close towards the center. And when they are going in for those rotations, they keep getting caught off guard, mainly because they wait for those final few moments of that circle to start moving, and then all of panic ensues, right? A little bit of unluckiness as well as Triple G was their team to come across them this time.
And also, I think for Buriram, this is one of the better rounds for them. I think they finished like 4th or 5th with 8 to 9 eliminations in total. It was a tough final circle as they were literally literally caught in a 3-way fight. Magic Squad definitely, again, with the help of some luck, some great positioning, some good reads, finding an easy booyah for them, and it's very, very much needed for MGS.
So I want to talk a little bit about Magic Squad, right? Because I think, would we say they are probably one of the closer contenders, or at least the closest contenders to taking the crown tomorrow?
I
think many teams are in the running for tomorrow's crown.
But I think if you just specifically look at Brazil, I think MGS probably is the best chance Brazil has to bring it back.
Yeah, for Brazil, yes.
So let's go a little bit deeper into Magic Squad. We will have an interview in just a second, but what are the weaknesses that we think are holding them back? We'll actually ask this after, because I do believe the interview is almost ready to go. So for anyone that is keen to be a Magic Squad fan, let's hear what they have to say after getting the booyah on Alpine.
We are now halfway through the Point Rush stage, day 2, and we have witnessed sheer excellence. And now the winner is ready to talk to us. A dazzle players who wins all the players in the last round. Welcome and give it up for Bob's Magic Squad. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you explain why your team still use the Skylar character? Is it useful in combat?
Parabéns pelo Buia. Você pode explicar por que seu time usa Skylar? É muito útil para vocês no combate?
Eu acho que Skylar é o personagem principal do Iago, né? Tipo, o personagem que ele mais gosta de jogar. Então, se ele sente a vontade jogando com esse personagem, ele usa.
Skylar is the main character that Iago, our support, likes to use. So if this makes him comfortable, we use it.
Right, and seem like your team strategy is only having combat at late games. Is that the case? Is it true?
Parece que vocês preferem as trocações no final do game, no endgame. Essa é uma estratégia de vocês?
Sim, porque chegando no endgame é onde pode dar o Buia, né? O Buia é o que tem mais pontos. 12 pontos é o Buia, então nossa estratégia é sempre chegar no endgame e dar o Buia.
Yes, this is our strategy. Getting in the end game, you get closer to the Buia, and getting the Buia, you get the 12 points. So
Right.
this is the strategy we use.
So you're aiming to get all the points in the Point Rush stage day 2, right?
O objetivo de vocês é pegar quantos pontos no Point Rush?
O máximo que conseguir. Por nós pegaremos todos, né? Mas não pode, então terminar top 1 hoje, top 2 ontem e com o máximo de pontos possível para essa final.
The maximum we could get. For us, we would get all the points, but since last day we got top 2,
Right.
now our main focus is to stay at top 1 and get more points.
Right, and lastly, anything you'd like to say to your fans?
Uma mensagem para os seus fãs.
Rapaziada, valeu que todo mundo tá torcendo aí, continua torcendo que amanhã é dia de ser campeão, então vamos pra cima, é nóis.
Thank you, everyone. Tomorrow is the day we'll be the champion, so let's go.
Wow, congratulations and best of luck in the next round.
Thank you.
A dazzling display of skill in this round. Curious about who will be the next winner, right? So now, back to you, Shoutcaster.
Thank you, Owen. It seems like it wasn't just Magic Squad that's looking to make Brazil proud, but also loud. I'm not sure if our viewers managed to hear it. I know Husky and I, we heard the big team chant in the background. We always know it's the Brazilians, right?
always.
They're just so vocal. They are so positive as well.
Yes.
So back onto the point that we were talking about before we had this discussion,
Yep.
right? Magic Squad, really strong team, but
Yep.
what are some of their weaknesses that are starting to show through?
I think a lot of reliance on, well, not a lot, but a key player actually for Magic Squad is Yago. And one of the reasons is because he's not just a sniper, he also runs the Skylar, right? We went through this a couple of times. You compare Yago and Mexico from Lao, they both run the Skylar. It's their comfort character. And we also kind of talked about the weakness of Skylar because of the existence of Tatsuya. If he dashes into you, Skylar becomes completely nullified. And you need to make your red tide rhythm count, because if it doesn't, you don't find a good position with it, suddenly you are down one member. And I think that has been a downfall of not just MGS, but also Lao, especially when they start losing their snipers before an important fight.
Yeah, I think there are two main points for my side for Magic Squad. Number one, they are out of meta. Hence why they're still heavily dependent on the Skylar, which has not really made any game-changing plays. I mean, once or twice we saw a really good set of glue walls being taken down and a knock coming through from Yago, but I haven't really seen that go into, like, you know, a spree of elimination points, right? The second thing is the fact that Magic Squad has not consistently put the numbers on the leaderboard when it comes to eliminations. They've been heavily dependent on just getting those placements, and you can't really play that to your advantage tomorrow. You need to be a very highly mechanical team out there on the battlefield.
From
and I
start
think
to
this is where
finish.
they do have some explosive rounds like Thorad, but yeah, some explosive rounds won't make a great big of difference, except if maybe you have all of those some in one day.
Yeah. And I want to add on to
Consistently.
that. I think this also puts a lot of reliance onto the rest of the team, right? Like Bob's, Butsin. They have to really start getting those frags in CQCs.
Yeah.
And when you look at the differences between the sniper players from Brazilian regions, the Brazil region and the rest of the region, the other regions run like A124, right?
Yeah.
Some of them run the Steffi, some of them run the Tatsuya. It gives the sniper players some sort of utility to defend themselves. Skylar doesn't provide that.
And actually, he has a great point. And on top of everything else, when you use the Skylar, there's two ways to use it, right? Number one, as the sniper, you give yourself a good opening. Number two, which is the more effective way of using the Skylar, is to give the rest of your team members who are going in for the rush and opening. Unfortunately, Yago hasn't been able to back up the rest of his team members. He's just been using it for himself mostly.
Yeah, so it sounds like a personal play style.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
really an issue, but it's just the way that he plays,
Correct,
right? And
yeah.
it's so difficult to be able to personally adjust your play style
Correct.
at the world stage, because that's what he's known for, right? Like, your best play style is what got you to the world stage. But as we can see here, our MVP leaders do still sitting in first
at
place
Peter.
with 6 MVPs. And Peter is slowly catching up. You look
Yes.
at the elims,
He has
right?
99.
99 eliminations.
By my calculation, Peter should have 5 MVPs right now, and Dew needs to have 4 MVPs because there were 2 MVP titles. If it was me picking the MVP, unfortunately, Dew wouldn't have gotten it. I have hyped Dew up many times on a stage like this, but I just think Peter is clearly taking things on a whole other level. Now, if he continues this, I don't need to be a sad boy by the end of FFWS because Peter will walk away with 10,000 USD.
But if for that to happen, it also means that C-Triple-G will win the whole thing, right? So
I mean, unless he gets it in the next 2 games.
Well, I was going to say, if he can grab them all today, then it won't really influence, or it'll
Fair enough,
less
fair enough.
influence for tomorrow.
Fair enough.
But yeah, if it
You're right,
happens
you're
tomorrow,
right.
then I'll be like, I think
Tomorrow the competition is too hot. I mean, you might as well strike when your opportunity is at an all-time high,
So
and that is Point Rush.
what are the chances of C-Triple-G getting the booyah on Kalahari? What do we have for the numbers here for this team?
Very high, ma'am. They walk into the Week 3 with the highest average score on Kalahari. A total of 84 points picked up through 4 matches. That's an average of 21 points. The closest one to them is RRQ Kazu, and we know how good the Indonesians are here on this map. But yesterday, on the other hand, though, we got not a overwhelming performance from them, just subpar, right? They
Yeah.
had 2 games, they walked away with a 21 amount of points because one of those games, it was a little unfortunate
Yeah.
for them.
All right, so C-Triple-G, they have got to fulfill AJ's wishes. Get those MVPs onto Peter. Chase Dew down. Oh, but look at Moshi,
I'm
though.
telling you, man, the cameraman knows what we want.
It's not just the chain. I was actually trying to look at his facial expression because I think I've said this before, right? I
Yeah.
love seeing the players and what emotional, mental state they're in the booth.
Tell me his emotional mental state. No.
He's
the Red
thinking-
Bull hasn't kicked in.
The Red
There's a kick in.
He needs to go to the Vietnamese desk and grab some coffee. I think RRQ is going to grab this one. Husky thinks so as well. You don't. Why?
I don't think RRQ is going to get it
Man,
because
you stray away from RQ on Kalahari?
Okay, here's the thing, right? I kind of think the mental for RRQ has taken a bit of a dip for the past couple days, or at
Okay.
least yesterday, right? Because RRQ, I think during the league stage, it was fine. We saw
Yeah.
the team doing reasonably well. They started terrible. They picked up. They're
Yeah.
starting slow again. Today, they've already played 3 games. They haven't picked up. And I think if you're RRQ and you haven't picked up on day 2, you have to be concerned because this is a team that relies on adaptation. And they are at the moment, they're either not adapting or, as AJ's saying, they are completely experimenting with a playstyle that they're not comfortable with that is also not working out for them.
Because
And
it's tough to see how they are adapting when they are continuously still taking hot drops. I mean,
yeah.
if it happened to them once yesterday, I'll understand not changing anything, but it happened to them in every single game. And they were changing their drop spots. So they could be hunting.
They could be hunting, or here's the theory, maybe they are challenging every single team and they are noting down, okay, which are the teams that we're comfortable actually hot dropping on the grand final
That's
day.
actually a very good point. It could just be the case. It could just be the case.
I mean, you are kind of on a scouting mission.
Yeah.
In this case. But I also feel like the sample size, at least the sample size to judge a team's performance does shrink by a lot when their play time is only 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes per round. I think that's kind of the pain point.
But isn't it crazy that just with that sort of an average, to walk away with the most number of eliminations on day 1 of Point Rush? It's
Which is crazy. I think that is one of the craziest part.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the numbers are not looking good for day 2, so
you
something's
play
got to
with fire,
change.
you're going to get burned.
Well, let's see if RRQ are going to be able to stabilize because this is one of their maps, but at the same time, C-Triple-G is another team that really is looking to take those 16 points away. They are still on top of that leaderboard with a sizable lead against the competition. So we'll have to
Very
see if
sizable.
anyone can challenge them. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Kalahari, map number 4 of the day. We are at the halfway point. Who's going to get this 4th booyah?
Let's look at this flight path. Stone Ridge will hold our high-tier loot zone. Yesterday, absolutely nobody went over there, but this time I do expect a team to head on in, and it's going to be Magic Squad. This makes sense because Magic Squad yesterday dropped at Santa Catarina, and moving into Stone Ridge to take this high-tier loot zone is a no-brainer. Bob7 will still go to his favorite spot at Santa Catarina just in case things do go south. And it seems like it's not going to go for the rest of his team, but Bobs himself might find a little bit of trouble.
Between him and Peter, some more. It's like both rushes against each other. And of course, Peter is now one of the most decorated players we have on the world stage.
Yeah.
Not an easy fight to take for sure.
Wait, I need to see the map.
It is Bobs. It has found Peter, and Bobs has already lost in the health department, right? Peter is just fancy with his movements. Bobs instantly looks for the retreat.
Smart play by Bobs. I saw PE Sports heading for the maze, but someone else already took their hotspot. You see, RRQ is purposely hot dropping these teams. There is no way in hell RRQ does not know that PE Sports was going to go to the maze.
But
that is PE Sports' drop spot.
Not just that, though. I want to quickly mention that RRQ, they took the maze, and P actually decided to go away from the maze.
Yeah, and that's a very smart move from PE Sports. They don't want to play with fire. They see someone else approaching their spot. They're not going to shy away from running from that early battle, and I think that's a big win for PE Sports. But the problem here is breaking away from the maze. Going back towards Refinery is going to be hell because Loud usually takes Refinery. They've got that high ground advantage. The saving grace is you don't find a lot of snipers on Refinery, so that might save them, but assault rifles are aplenty there. So there's going to be a little bit of a challenge for PE Sports. Let's see how they do later.
The fact that RQ gives Refinery to Lau when Lau is playing does show that RQ, they are adapting, right? This is not a team that is just, you know, going for those brain-dead drops and they just fight you all this while. So I think in this case, they are trying to find a way to just have the best opening. Maybe they've been struggling. That could be a possibility as well. But Lau now showing out at the maze.
And that just means that PE Sports is going to be blessed because PE Sports was running away from the maze towards Refinery. Loud was in Refinery and they hop in towards the maze. EXPS is currently rotating towards the maze. And dude, this is just a four-way fight that RRQ cannot afford. But that is going to be brought in right away. So not a lot of price to pay here.
And that was a three-pointer from... from the side of Lau to find it, but they will end up losing one as well. So not the best opening for them for sure.
This backstab might be problematic for Loud, right? And RQ still within the vicinity. So these teams, they haven't given away their original drop spots.
Ooh, that one.
Bay.
Alright, the second one also misses. We started dealing some crazy damage onto PE.
What a crazy start to Kalahari. And one more with the longest snipe thus far. He called himself the best sniper out there on the world stage currently. And I guess with that stat, it means that he is pretty close to exactly that crazy stuff out of Don't Cry. But the double barrel is not going to give him a extended engagement period and Don't Cry!
Beautiful!
Changes over to the Trogon and blasts two players.
Both of them are going to get revived. So Lau still has the full team, but they are going to be slowed down a little bit. PE Sport not done just yet. In fact, continuing to fire at anyone in their line of sight. So that's EXPS. I think RQ still has one man nearby. We see the Dinoculus also used by Hong Ang to go for scan. Not sure where that area is. It should be the southern side of where they are.
PE Sports could have run away, but the fact that EXPS was rotating in from Foundation immediately cut away their chances. Foundation does have a pretty high advantage, a high vantage point, so it gives EXPS a bird's eye view, potentially with a couple of snipers on their side. It would be the end for PE Sports if they were to retreat. So their best course of action now is to wait for an opportune moment to hop on into battle! And Don't Cry just bites the bitter end as Nero follows suit as well. RRQ not giving them a break.
I think we just caught it on the map though. WAG was actually converging onto RRQ, so we could be seeing a massive team clash on the other side of the map. EXPS, though, however, actually catching a glimpse of PE Sports as well. So PE Sports is in a lot of trouble being squished in by all these teams.
Yeah, Deuce was able to find Krillin, and there is going to be a trade. Razor gets the help that he needs, but can't say the same for Krillin, unfortunately. I believe that's a Sonya timeout for Razor, so there's 3 minutes without that ability.
Yesterday, there were many hot drops, but not everybody was as successful. In fact, nobody was as successful as RRQ when it came to the hot drop survival and sneaking away all of those precious points. And, you know, I have to agree with you, Danny. You hit the nail right on the head. These guys are experimenting to see exactly who they can take a really hot fight with. So if push comes to shove and they need to really headhunt some points, they know exactly where to hot drop.
All right, status of these other teams. C-Triple-G not really having to do too much here, just trying to finish off that vehicle. So Peter, if he could, he's trying to get that MVP yet again. C-Triple-G having a lot to work with. On the other side of the map, though, we are starting to see some players drop. Peter getting 5, Poco losing another player.
Can we just, at this point, you know, all agree that Peter has the highest average eliminations per person?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep.
I mean, no doubt. I mean, first of all, he has got the highest number of eliminations.
This is his 100.
There you go, 102 elimination.
102, right? Because he had 99 before this. He's got 3, so 102, but he has broken the 100 mark in like what, 10 rounds?
Yeah.
That is insane.
So if anybody was disputing, you know, me constantly saying Peter deserves more MVPs, take that off
Actually,
you.
I gotta recalculate. It's not 10 rounds. It's across 8 days.
8 days.
Almost 8 days. Man, my math
But
needs
still
some.
better than, you know, everybody else out
34
there
rounds.
who
There
have
it is.
played equally as much as him.
Which is crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
means that he's wiping out almost 2 full teams per round.
That is correct. Oh, come on.
guys.
You can't lose that. Legalot just pumps down, goes with the Trogon. CQC straight to the chest. A headshot, I understand, but the guy is embarrassed him. Dolphin goes down as well. Fish out of water. He doesn't survive.
Automatic shotguns are a different breed of weapon.
That's true. And a shotgun that can also pump out grenades, somebody nerfed that thing.
Somebody definitely had an epiphany while designing like new weaponry.
What if?
Look at
what
this.
if this shotgun can be an auto shotgun? Oh, what it can also pump out grenades? The guy, the guy was the most happiest person in the world when his boss approved the idea.
I tell you, designing things, it can be fun when your ideas get accepted. No, guy, he's gonna get sniped. I think his head just popped out a little bit.
Yeah.
The thing about being in a sentry tower is that you're actually not completely safe.
He's gonna steal it away.
Oh, Razor! Can't find it. Oh, I mean, Abe just buys him back. This is classic RRQ. Classic RRQ.
Hang on a minute, though. Is that EXPS that's right next to RRQ?
Yeah,
Okay, this is going to be an extremely messy fight because RRQ are playing with 1 man down.
Here's
and this
the crazy
is EXPS.
thing. EXPS has waited 7 minutes and 45 seconds to actually approach them. They were in Foundation earlier. They were watching all of the action at the maze. They saw Loud, they saw RRQ, they saw Esports, and they just took cheap shots at everyone. And finally, they've made the decisions to approach. But here's the thing. If they walk away the loser from this engagement, I've got a lot of questions, EXPS.
Oh.
Theoretically, they shouldn't, because Legalov has almost nothing to work with. He is going to be in this corner. I think they saw the pixel, yep. I mean, very aware on the side of you. So Legalov is going to 1v1 stop. He's already down. I mean, they definitely stop him in his tracks for sure. RRQ picking up the first one. Abe again cannot forget about this wonder child as the XPS up to not the start that they wanted. Dudes and Razor putting out damage from long range as Casper is going to try and turn the corner to take this fight, but ends up having to fall back, and he is in the red himself as well. Casper getting knocked down as Dudes goes for the rush. Legolas still surviving despite being cornered by Dew, and he sees all of this happening. Dew tries to reposition himself with the grappling and now getting shot mid-air. Legolas pops! Dew is going to fall for sure, and Razor snipes him.
So that's exactly what happens
literally what
when
you
you
said.
take 3 years to attack a team. Dew does manage to find the trade onto Legalov though, as he picks himself right back up. But not a lot of consequences here for RRQ. Legalov's going to get picked right back up as well as Dew gets sprayed down by Duds. This time the secure is there. One final survivor for EXPS. Therefore, no full elimination of the squad. And Caramel makes quick work of reviving the whole team.
And Loud is actually still in this game. This team managed to get the full revive after having that failed early game fight against RRQ. So trying to go for a bit of a reset here. I have to say, we've seen so many fights, and yet up until this point, only 1 team has been eliminated, and we are still sitting on 41 players.
And the team that's hunting for heads, hot dropping teams consistently, is getting better and better at it, gearing themselves up for tomorrow.
Actually, I want to talk about RRQ here, right?
Yeah.
Because you're saying they're hot dropping. In this game, everyone's going to RRQ. Have we not realized this? They've been sitting on base, and everyone's been going into RRQ, and RRQ have been managing to punish them successfully so far.
So I don't think the ideation was for them to go to RRQ. I think the ideation was for them to prey on PE Sports, because Maze is the home of PE Sports. So RRQ initially took this hot drop by walking away from Shrines. In game number 2 yesterday, they had taken that hot drop into Foundation, hot dropping EXPS. It didn't really go their way. So today they want to try to pick on PE, right? And that totally checked out in their favor. And EXPS kind of figured that was happening because they heard all of those gunfights. But, you know, how unfortunate that they would lose a clear-cut fight against the team of RRQ, who they were literally watching 7 minutes, 45 seconds. And all the time did nothing for them.
It's worth pointing out that both Dorat and PogoStars also went for their respective scans, right? And they both scanned a full team in, leading up to the safe zone. On this northern side, you have Lau against C-Triple-G. They are running in parallel, but clearly C-Triple-G have the high ground advantage. So Lau might have to give away Mexico.
It's Mexico too.
And we talked about this, right? We put Mexico and Yago side by side. Like, they are the most important member of the team because of how they play and the fact that they have the Skylar. So if Mexico goes down, it's a big blow towards Lau, considering that we are very close to the end game.
It is going to get checked from the back, but nothing much to regret just yet. They just have to spend a couple of medkits as they get away from Thorat. Thorat just way too far away to make anything happen from all of those connections. OnFire is going to top his HP right back up. Circle's going to punish Thorat for being cheeky outside. And this third circle is going to become
Mexico.
the fourth one. What was Thorat even thinking staying outside for so long?
I think you move. I think right now you just move.
I'm wondering what the plan is here for Loud, because they're about to lose Mexico. The team is literally on the other side, so they can't even support him. I don't even think they're within range of a vending machine, but Mexico getting one more. Okay, I mean, that's a great way to recover.
What a cheeky man. Just pops the Sonya with a headshot and finds a cheeky elimination. So good stuff from Mexico.
Okay, they found a vending machine. So I guess maybe at this point they say, okay, Mexico, we need you to run into a team. We need you to be eliminated. We'll bring you back in. But the downside would be that he won't have a good weapon.
Oh, this is a terrible place to take a fight, guys. I mean, the circle has left you high and dry. This is the fourth circle. It's gonna hurt. So just a couple of bullets can put down any of these players out there. North decides to back away. 18D is running as quickly as his feet can take him. Thorat has got no idea where PogoStars is, but they're just going to try to find them either way. And if I was their coach, I would be choking everybody right now.
Logi's not going to have time to heal up. Nope. I think if you're Thorat, you have to literally just abandon whoever you can and just get into the circle as fast as possible.
Just go, because at this point they literally have no time left to work with. Oh, goodness. We'll have to see in just moments later.
Yeah, we see Coscu getting eliminated by the blue zone. A lot of players are going to start dropping to the blue because of their position and the circle itself. You can see that the revive is there for one of the PogoStar members, but he might just be free foot for either Magic Squad or BRU. This is a rivalry that we have talked about for a long time. Moshi getting rushed by GU. The blue wall will isolate him. Bunsen and GU reposition towards the right, looking for both Jonah and Get High, but GU is now isolated. The clusters are now landing for the side of Magic Squad, but Jonah doesn't get taken down first. Good positioning from the side of MGS as Yago starts supporting them from afar as the sniper, but they are quickly losing the CQC. Butson gets dropped down. It's Bobs and Yago to keep MGS in this game. Get High is exposed. Bobs needs to start landing the shots, but he cannot find it.
He's
going to get rushed, and it might be BRU turning this around. Wasana and Get High looking for the members of MGS. They're playing around the corners, but Bobs is tanking the blue.
Once again, too much of time spent outside the circle. Buriram making the first decision to back away. Wasana gets tagged up, hops on over the barricade and blocks away the shot from Yago, but Bobs finds him from the other side. A unfortunate setup here for Wasana, but he picks himself right back up, and the M82B penetrates the glue wall to put him right back down onto the ground. Get High potentially can save him from this mishap. Bobs on the slow approach. Get High with the Trogon, waiting for that opportune moment. Comes out of his defenses. Bobs outside of the circle, loses a couple of HP. Get High now trying to trick him out. Bobs has got the wrong shotgun for this sort of an engagement against Get high, and he gets the headshot. That's what you want to do if you've got the sword up in your hands. And Buriram bites the dust.
Yeah, you know for a fact Yago could not support him. He needed to win that great play from Bobs. And Lost 21 actually gets his head taken out by Dudes from afar as expand against Loud and Cobra. He's going to come in for the cleanup. But Crime, MKS, and Cobra both get knocked as RQ and the XPS wants to pick up a couple of these grabs while fighting for the Booyah at the same time.
RRQ are sitting on 16 eliminations. I'm not sure what the heck they've been doing on the other side of the map, but they've apparently been doing a lot of work, and we are now down to our final 3 teams, ladies and gentlemen. RRQ, Magic Squad, and EXPS.
Dudes is having a hot game.
One more grenade should be able to do him in, but he gets A124. Legalot still finds the connection with the grenade launcher. Caramel down on the ground, and RRQ picking up 18th elimination in this game, and it looks like it's going to be 20 by the end of it. RRQ, each and every single hot drop paying off all the way up to this point. Bob's down on the ground. They circle around that. Yago out as well as they secure the biggest booyah of Point Rush. 20 eliminations in total for a total of 32 points.
20 eliminations, and half of that came from Dudes. Tell me that this guy is not having a great game.
I mean, I want to hear this man speak in the interview.
I'm going to hear Razor.
Oh, okay, actually, yes, I do miss Razor. Razor does give fantastic interviews.
So this is exactly why the confidence is just beaming on the faces of RRQ, even though every single game yesterday, they had company, right? They were, at the end of the day, halfway on the leaderboard. I believe RRQ took away a total of 4 head start points, but they're, of course, looking for a total of 8 today. Let's take a look at the highlight reel here as well as we continue to discuss this amazing start by RRQ, which looked disastrous for PE, but they got away and EXPS decided to stick their noses in.
I question what would have happened if P and RRQ actually decided to drop in together, right? Because we've seen these 2 teams drop in together in the past, and P actually coming out on top. So if P, they didn't back up, I don't think this game would have actually been smooth sailing for RRQ, but of course you're rolling the dice, right?
Yeah,
like
correct.
who's going to get the best guns and whatnot. So I mean, this is a massive sign of life here for RRQ. It's going to push them massively up that leaderboard, secure them for hopefully the rest of today. But I guess the thing is, if you're RRQ, you kind of don't want to fumble these last couple games.
I think once again, you've got that point on, right, Danny, because you called it out right. If at all PE Esports had taken that hot drop with them instead of backing away from their own home ground, things would have been very different when Loud came flying in. I mean, that would have been an instant third party. Loud would have been able to chip away a few, and we saw EXPS kind of rotating in just shortly after that as well. Things would have gone south quickly for RRQ. They're playing with fire, they're playing with luck a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think for RQ, in this case, it's very clear where they stand, right? Middle of the pack. I think that's the most we can place them for now, and I think we have justified this over the course of these 2 days, where they have good rounds and then they have rounds where you're just like, what were they doing?
Hot dropping people, and for a team that can very easily find these hot drops, they can also easily find open grounds. I mean, clearly the coach is onto something here, and the teams that they are able to experiment on, they better change their drop spots, because RRQ is going to come for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive round for RRQ, right? If they can somehow get to at least second or third place by the end of the day, I think it's good enough for them as a team. First place, that's a bonus because you're contending with big teams, right? Like C2BG, the Magic Squad are also starting to rack up some extra points.
I'm not sure if they would be able to actually qualify for first place, right? Because we've got 2 more games to go, so a limited number of opportunities, and unfortunately Nextera isn't really their best map. But we do have an interview lined up, so let's see what RRQ have to say.
Round 4 was a spectacle. Let's dive into the excitement with the stand-up players from this thrilling match. Give it up for RRQ Kazu! Congratulations! Your team had 20 eliminations in Game 4, and 10 of those belong to you. Can you explain to us why you play so well?
Ya, game tadi ada 20 kills, terus ada 10 kill dari lu sendiri. Kira-kira kenapa tuh? Bisa dijelasin?
Gak ada sih, itu cuma hoki aja.
It's just lucky.
Oh really? No, it's because of your skill, right?
Yeah.
Was it going as planned?
Ya. Apakah itu bagian dari planning? ngumpulin kill segitu?
Ya kita main cari kill aja.
Ya, we play the objective is kill.
Right.
Yeah.
And can you share your favorite character and gun combo and why?
Ya, favorit karakter dan kombonya tuh apa, Dut? Yang paling lu favoritin dan kenapa?
Sonia sama A124 aja sih, efektif. Sonia sama A124.
Sonia and A1 to yeah.
Right. So this is the combo that
Yeah, the combo.
he likes, right?
Because they're effective.
Effective, right. And how many additional points your team aim to get in the point rush state day 2?
Ya, berapa poin kira-kira yang lu targetin buat di point rush di saat di day pertama sama di day kedua kira-kira?
Nggak ada sih, kita main lebih bagus dari kemarin aja.
Yeah, just we play good play and we don't have any target for the point rush.
Right. And lastly, anything you'd like to say to your fans?
Ada pesan buat fans-fans di Indonesia.
Ya buat fans-fans Indonesia jangan hujat kita, dukung kita terus. Semoga kita di grand final bisa lebih bagus.
Ya, for the fans in Indonesia, just support us, don't blame us, and keep praying to good game in grand final.
Right, so keep it positive. Lots of love and support to all the players. Congratulations and thank you, RQ Krasu Das. What's in store for the next round? Who will be the winner? Find out after the break. But now, over to you, Shoutcaster.
Well, to be fair, we can kind of blame them for some of their decisions. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. So
They are all working perfectly. And if any Indonesian disagrees with what RRQ is doing, I say next season for the Free Fire World Series, you represent Indonesia. You can't because RRQ is just that good.
Yeah, I mean, you have not witnessed the full force of the Indonesian fans unless you bring the trophy back to Indonesia. You could bring the trophy back and they will still find fault, but
And that's not just Indonesia. In fact, every single nation, their biggest detractors are the people from their own country. They won't start believing until you start winning. So that's exactly what RRQ is looking to do, taking away 4 out of 5 top eliminations on the leaderboard. How about that, Indonesia?
I mean, that's the love for the game, right? Like, you love your team so much that sometimes the dissatisfaction does boil up. But for a team that played last year in Bangkok and finished 7th, they did have half of their roster switched out. I mean, Legolas and Raze the state, but they bring in people like Duts, right? You can see that this man puts out some insane amount of damage, has a great performance whenever he is hot. I think Abe was also a great addition. We talked about this, right? He was underage last year and finally meeting the age requirement and debuting alongside someone as experienced as Legolas and Razor. This is a year I think RQ is looking to not just surpass their expectations, but also kind of break the ceiling of what they achieved last year.
And this is what's amazing about RRQ. The fact of the matter is they don't need to depend on the wonder kid Abe. They don't even need to depend on the veterans Razor as well as Legolas. Even their brand new addition Duts can carry the game all on his own. You've got 4 superstars on the side of RRQ, and Indonesia stands a hot chance of walking away with the trophy this time.
Well, I think in general on the panel, right, we do agree that we prefer teams that are well-rounded, right? As soon as you rely on that one person, we've seen it time and time again, that one person gets eliminated, the team falls down, and basically the entire train crashes.
Correct.
So it's great to see RRQ being able to rely on one another, but again, we've got to pray that this team remains somewhat stable moving forward because the instability, it has shown itself a couple times. But for the overall standing, CGGG still on top with 65 points, but Magic Squad hot on their heels with 61. In 3rd place, we have Thor at 53, and RRQ have managed to climb up to 4th place with 45 points. They are still quite a ways away from potentially reaching 2nd and 1st, but I think it is very much possible. It's going to depend on the performance of Magic Squad and CGGG for these final 2 games.
Yeah, I think that overall standing also perfectly displays why I say Magic Squad has the best chance of bringing the trophy back to Brazil because Lao has hot and cold days, and this is one of it, right? Yesterday, they were 3rd, just below Magic Squad, but right now Magic Squad is keeping up, but Lao isn't.
Yeah. Well, I do believe we are going to have a very short break, so as usual, do what you need to do, but make sure you're back in 5 minutes because we've got more Free Fire coming right up. Hello, survivors, and welcome back to the Free Fire World Series 2023. We've just finished up 4 matches, meaning we've got 2 more to go, 2 more chances to lock in those points and to secure your head start points for the grand final. That is happening tomorrow. My name is Danaline. Of course, joining me is the wonderful Mustachio AJ and Husky. We've got next Terra up next. Whew, that one's a bit of a tough one. Who are we looking at that's going to get their target? Who's going to get targeted, I suppose, on next Terra?
Everybody, ma'am.
Everybody.
Every round you ask me who's going to have a big target on the back. If you are RRQ, you've got the target on everybody else's back. Nobody can have a target on RRQ's back because they never take the same drop spot.
But will we say there's one team that everyone is really going to be looking at and thinking like, okay, this is the team that's going to be the biggest threat on next Terra?
Not really. No, honestly, I don't think so. I don't think so. In fact, for me, I'm more interested to find out when will Esports and GOW, basically the whole of Vietnam, start fighting in the first 30 seconds. That's all I want to know.
Well, we kind of saw what happened yesterday, didn't we? We saw like Indonesia versus Vietnam literally happen back to back for a lot of those games. But then again, I guess Indonesia may have been an instigator for a lot of those fights because they did actually hot drop a lot of the Vietnamese teams. And because Esports dodged RRQ, I'm actually of the opinion that Vietnam teams are playing very conservatively today.
They are. I mean, I think we could say the exact same thing for the Thai teams as well, excluding CGGG. The other 2 Thai teams have been doing the exact same thing. EXPS as well as Buriram have been showing up pretty weakly in the point rush stage. But yesterday, towards the end of the day, it was all out Brazil with the Booyahs. Perhaps this time Indonesia is going to try to prove that they can do the exact same thing.
Definitely a better day for Indonesia overall. Like Toret and RRQ are, I think, like in 4th and 5th, that are right beside each other. So that is great for them as well. I think we don't like we established, right? We don't expect them to finish first, that's for sure. We're just expecting them to make up some of the points that was lost. Unfortunately, Poco Stars are not involved in the equation. But I feel like when we look back at Xterra, that's also the map that I believe Magic Squad got their second booyah yesterday. And
next Terra, yes.
Yeah, and if they repeat that, I think Magic Squad have a very, very good chance of finishing first, because right now we're still seeing a bit of that relapse of the second place curse against CGG.
Well, I think it's a bit early, right? So you've got a great opportunity for Magic Squad to sort of come in here, swipe it away from CGG. But I mean, there are other teams that are in a really good position to potentially make that climb as well. Like, it's not just Magic Squad. We've got I think in particular RRQ looking to actually make that climb, maybe even swipe away the second place. I don't know if RRQ is in a position to potentially steal first. Second, possibility, but it also depends on the performance of the top teams on that leaderboard.
And this is how you know which is the most aggressive region out there. All 3 of the top damage goes to the Thai region. You've got Dew from EXPS, you've got Moshi from Buriram, as well as, who's the third one? Somebody, but he was from Thailand as well.
I couldn't tell you either.
That's what matters. He's from Thailand. Okay, I believe it was CGG. It was Peter.
I was about to bring that up because I was like, wait, Peter isn't on the top 3 list, but he has the most eliminations.
No, he is. He was the third.
Oh, right, he was the third one. But you know what that means? That means that he is very, very efficient.
He is.
He is
absolutely.
Look at this.
I mean, he's got the least amount of damage between the top 3, and he's got the most number of eliminations. So I do agree with you. They definitely do have the most concise player on their side, CGG. But this was, of course, our prediction for the next match, and I think all of us are betting on CGG getting it.
Well, to be fair, they have been consistent, or at least consistent-ish up until this point. I think Kalahari was their weakest performance today, but not really that big of a deal for this team. They have proven themselves, so I think it wouldn't be surprising for people to put their confidence into CGG. But there are other teams I am looking to actually take this map if it's not going to be CGG. We are seeing, I guess, some team talks here, strategizing, calm players waiting for the game to begin. But lots of calm teams. I'm actually really happy that we're not seeing too many teams that could be having some tension within their boots, because one of the first signs of a team having some internal issues is going to be some, you know, just very frustrated facial expressions. Like those wrinkled eyebrows. You really need to be careful when you're playing in a team setting, because if there's any kind of resentment that could be happening from a previous round, any distrust, that can easily break a team down, and that's regardless of who you are. Top teams in the past have faltered because there has been some kind of tension that has been left unresolved.
And this is something that I feel like if you are an avid audience of esports event and you have watched tournaments of multiple different genres, you would come to, there's one thing that a lot of people might not know. When you watch Battle Royales, these teams actually have pre-tournament scripts, right? Like you are already playing against each other before you play the official tournament on that day itself. So they are not just playing 6 rounds, they probably have played like 3-4 rounds before this. I think those also add up, depending on if the screen results are, are well enough, are acceptable for these players.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we're ready to jump into our 5th match of the day, ladies and gentlemen. We're flying into Nextera. Pods are getting ready to be loaded into the aircraft. Can these teams lock in their final round of points before they close out the point rush? Because this is the final day of point rush. Second last map. Nextera. Who's going to take this next booyah? Could it be Magic Squad getting a back-to-back?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be someone else to lock in those points?
Well, C-Triple-G was pretty close yesterday, walking away with the 2nd spot and a total of 10 eliminations.
Ooh.
Might just be the 2 of them. Farmtopia going to be the lucky spot this time round with the blue circle. And yesterday it was WAG that took that spot. So if anybody goes for the hunt on that blue, WAG might be in a tad bit of trouble here. By their trajectory, it looks like they are aiming to hop on into their own home ground.
We've got a couple teams already running into some multi-team skirmishes. I actually think we're looking at potentially 3 hot drops here. God of Wolf and Poco, and we've got Loud and RRQ.
And that's the exact same 2 hot drops that we saw yesterday as well between these between these 4 teams. C-Triple-G as well as Thorad going to be moving towards Rushdown as well as Mortar Ruins, so we'll catch up with them in a little bit. RRQ, Sonia activation, bye-bye, sir. You're going to get knocked down.
I mean, lost so accurate, like those, like the 2-3 shots in a row as well. And these are very valuable takedowns, right? Even though you don't get the elimination, but breaking the Sonya that early on does benefit you in the long run. Also, anyway, he's going to try and look for some sort of a conversion, but Drax, he's going to be dropped low. I think his Sonya also ends up getting popped by Duz, and Duz backs off, and unfortunately for Drax, he's going to be falling soon. Same can be safe for Noda as well. RQ looking to bulldoze through Lao. Absolute destruction. And Lao didn't even get to play the round.
And this is, and they have this information, right? This happened yesterday. They actually dropped in with Loud, and the fact that they were able to win, even without favorable weapons in some circumstances. We saw Dutze with the sidearm, dishing out really good damage for the team. So I guess at this point, if you're RRQ and you understand that you're going to be running into Loud in a potential hot drop situation, you're going to be feeling pretty comfortable.
And this was Loud's fault because it happened yesterday as well. They lost that battle, and they were thinking, okay, maybe RRQ would go and hunt someone else this time around. But if RRQ knows that they can hot drop you and still take those points away from you, why would they even want to change their spot, right? So a little bit of a miscall here by Loud, but it's better to make that mistake today than tomorrow. So it's still all fine and dandy for the Brazilian squad.
But what's not fine and dandy is C-Triple-G because they only have 1 player left in this game already. So right off the bat, C-Triple-G completely crippled, going to have to try and find a way to revive their team. But a team that might be running into some issues here is P Esports because EXPS are hungry.
Stop will be leading the charge and has already taken control of the 2nd floor. Let's have the Tatsuya. I think 1 more dash left. New K spotted already. Huang taking that cheeky corner. Might be able to find a bait if the EXPS decides to drop, but with New K going down, that is not going according to PE. Plan Narrow also losing a majority of his health. Sonya still standing though. Here comes Caramel dropping down, and that is the backstab that we've been talking about. Hong Ang fighting 2 spray downs. Perfectly done, but unfortunately Stop will get the trade back, and it's just not enough for PE Sports.
We got to move to the fight between RRQ and Expand. That is a big engagement going on, and at the moment Expand seems to be taking advantage, but Dew comes out of nowhere! And he just runs through 2 players. 1 connection to confirm onto Don't Cry, and a knock for him as well. Dew definitely on fire. He picks up the loot. Well deserved for EXPS.
Alright, what a shot from Dew. That was nasty onto the last member of PE Sports. Well, there goes 2 teams already. One of the faster games that we have. And fight between Expand and RQ actually died down a bit with Expand coming out on top and Abe being the last man standing for his team.
And unfortunately for him, he actually might run into one of God of Wolf's players as well. So Expand, they did a lot of work to really cut down into RRQ. I'm really curious to know like how that happened. Was it is it a case of Expand actually running into RRQ? Was RRQ in the middle of a skirmish? Was that why the team was caught off guard? Because
so RRQ was there initially with the hot drop onto Loud. They made a lot of noise. They won that engagement. They won that skirmish. So Expand, they went into Zipway and then they rotated into Plazaria. So Expand heard those gunshots. They probably scanned the area with their binoculars as well, spotted out that, okay, fine, the numbers that are reducing is from this compound, and they went in there to third party. A great decision made. It was a risky one, but it has paid off. Raz 7 HP, and D Kwang punishes him for the jump in. Goes for another punisher, but 18DA will be able to walk away with the MP40 knockdown and the pickup for his buddy.
Able to confirm the elimination, no problem. And gets a heal as well. Raz perfectly fine. 18 Deer now needs to take some time to heal back up. But there's a vending machine nearby in case Poco Stars wants to restock on anything. Bit of a slowdown, at least in the pace of the game. Coscu, unfortunately, is just caught in a rough spot. There is a vending machine nearby, but he is surrounded by TR members.
It looks like Buriram's gonna catch one out of the open. And Yago, in the meantime, confirms one onto Ghost. Buriram are gonna look for that reposition and just at Plazaria. What awaits them is a team of Expand. Thorat, on the other hand, gathering around C-Triple-G. Coscu, final survivor, 1v3. Spray down Sonia on the reset. And he does not get the knock to save himself. And David's, on the other hand, with his Sonya reset, won't have to worry all that too much because his buddy's just there beside him to pick him right back up onto his feet. And on we go. The scan coming through out of the UAV of Buriram, sent straight towards the players of Expand. But it seems like there's going to be no connection whatsoever. PokerStars, on the other hand, wrap around from the opposite side.
All right, so we do have a quick update for all of our teams. We see our first 3 teams eliminated with EXPS on top of the leaderboard with 5 eliminations, followed by PokerStars and RRQ with 4 apiece. So Indonesia off to a really strong start here on Nextera. Now Expand looking to go for the engagement here onto one of the Indonesian teams. PokerStars could be in trouble here. Cobra looking to start that engagement. And unfortunately for Poco, they are split.
Yeah, great push from Cobra, but Axel gets sprayed down by 18 Dia and his Bison. Cobra hasn't found Leaf just yet, but finally does. So that's a 1-for-1 trade between Expand and Poco.
That's the rush you want to see from Expand. At least you get some sort of trade. They do know Fire's MKS is there. His head did pop out a couple of times. Crime is on the other end, but PokerStars did get the revive onto Liam. So Expand, what's going to be the next move though? They can't get near to any vending machines, and it's going to be a 2-1 split. Crime MKS. Actually a rush too fast. Going deep. Looking for the vending machine, might be able to make this work out. Cobra will join him. He needs to back his captain out right now. Might be able to find an isolated 18 Deer, and indeed they will. Cobra want to snipe, but Crime and KS will be traded back in return as Poco Stars finds an exchange.
Yep, Crime gets taken out of the equation. In the meantime, GOW with a full team revival. Poco Stars have managed to equalize already, but here comes Buriram as well as they hear all of these gunfights over at Plazaria. There's a single player moving, but that could also be a vehicle. Either way, there is another one rounding around from the back. As Fires MKS finds too fast, Cobra finds the connection onto Fires. A good trade back, but Wasana steals that away. So Expand walks away with nothing in terms of that particular engagement. Cobra being tagged up by Jonah as well. If there's a time to run, it is now Expand.
BRU now finds himself against Expand. Not a good place to be in though. You have Poco Stars who can make a difference. Who is going to be the survivor? Axel definitely doesn't have much to work with, but Cobra has already been trapped underneath Poco Stars. Yep, they've already sent a survivor out there. Let the messenger live, but Expand, they might not have the luxury. Cobra literally in the sidelines of Moshi, and that is no running away. Unfortunately, Liam shows up and decides to join Cobra in the grave. And Cobra unfortunately gets back up, goes down instantly. Wasana with the confirmation.
RRQ joining the fray as well, and they want to get that final say in terms of eliminating Expand from this lobby because it was a very early strike from Expand against the Indonesian squad. Axel backs away with the opportunity to hunt down the final surviving player of Poco Stars. RRQ now will get into a heated battle with Buriram as Expand escapes from the compound as well. Everybody's just baiting in the bigger squads. The survivors gotta find a way to live.
I think the wounded teams, they're very happy actually that RRQ has made it there because they will be keeping the attention. In the meantime, though, we do have Thorad challenging EXPS, and so far Thorad, they do have a very wide position. EXPS, though, sticking inside that compound. As long as they don't get slowly picked up, it should be fine. The Thorad, they're looking to rush in here. Stop. Going to be starting this for the team, trying to dash in. They haven't found that opening quite yet. Casper taking quite a bit of damage, but here comes Thorad.
EXPS, can they kind of stop this? Thorad does have the high ground though. Well, North has already gone down. EXPS now have the man advantage. Ekal, his back turn. You don't do that against Stop. He just blows right through the shield from the Sonya. Unfortunately, Davis now caught in a really, really rough spot. Lawsy also, his hands a bit too full to handle the brunt of EXPS. Davis on a grand escape and actually able to catapult himself far away enough to escape temporarily. And guess what? There's a vending machine for him to bring back his whole team.
Oh, the right kind of spice just to excite the day a little bit more. A full squad revival by Thorad, courtesy of David. The team's wondering why they didn't even play their sub even earlier. This guy has been a game changer for the squad.
It has been so far. We've got a top-down view here. WAG very quiet this game. We haven't seen too much happen aside from the 2 eliminations to their name. So WAG, they're going to have to try and figure out how do we get into this circle because we've got a lot of teams occupying that bottom right. So WAG might be okay. EXPS, though, they're looking to finish the job here. Thorad not going to be too pleased with this squad flying in.
Sorry, Dew.
Someone came to the teleporter on the side of Thorad, but man, a revive just to run back into the ones that hunted you. Not really the scenario you want to be in. Ekal just not having a day at all. EXPS just catching up on Thorad's scent. And so far, elimination leaders 9 under their belt.
I mean, that was a great 180 by Stop. He flew out of the window, turned that 180, got that one shot off of that Trogon and got the knock on Ekal. Crazy stuff. Mechanically gifted EXPS is. But now, UAV up in the air, scanning all of their positions. GOW in the vicinity as well. But EXPS spending way too much of time outside the circle. They've got to start a move.
And they surely can. It is almost a clear way in. If GOW tries to stop them, that is going to be another extra point. North has already taken care of Izagot as Thorad are still alive, barely kicking.
Davids with a single elimination. Poco Stars on a good day here at Nextera. 8 eliminations. Looking for the 9th one as well. Cheeky stuff, but you will find the knock and confirmation as well. No steal for Poco Stars. Not yet, at least.
For now. That might change very soon here, AJ, because we are starting to get into that 3rd circle. Very soon will be 4, and we are going to be running out of space for these 9 teams remaining. 23 players left on the board here. God of Wolf, unfortunately, going to be eliminated from the competition. Get High, though, slowly chipping away here at Caramel for EXPS. No clear vision for him, though, so he's not able to get that really clear shot.
Buriram yesterday walked away with a total of 9 eliminations and 8 placement points. So that's the 3rd spot for them. And they're looking to do the exact same yet again.
There goes
Magic
Expand.
Squad got that booyah and they are going for that back-to-back. So big teams in this circle. Poco is the outlier here in this situation, as well as EXPS, who walked away with absolutely nothing. So they have the potential of stealing this game away.
BRU actually knows that there's one guy behind them because of the binoculars. It's the lone survivor of RRQ. EXPS, on the other hand, busy dealing with Poco Stars, and that is their gateway, that is their ticket into the circle. Fortunately, there's not much defenses available for EXPS, only a boulder as a constant.
No. This is a terrible move from EXPS. If they want to move, they got to start moving now. They've got enough glue walls to cut the distance between themselves as well as Poco Stars. But they're waiting on the ceremony here for Poco Stars to get distracted by another team. But I'm afraid the damage from circle number 4 is going to be heavy to tank.
I think you go right now. I think you have to commit, and they are making the move already. Stop leading the charge. You might have to sacrifice, a member or two, because BRU are also making it high. Stop, he's gonna go down for sure. The Sonya just got popped, but if he's taking bringing back up, then there is a chance, right? You're drawing attention from BRU as well. Easier said than done. No, EXP is just taking way too much damage, and there's just nothing much that they could do in this situation. Caught between 2 different powerhouses, and it's Poco Star and BRU to slowly clean them up.
And this is exactly why you have to start moving early. Once the circle starts to pressure you, it's just a no-go. Everybody gets a free open shot at you, and EXPS losing 2 valuable players before even getting to the next circle. Wasana claims a base life as well as It looks like RRQ have finally met their end in this lobby. PokerStars still gatekeeping EXPS, whereas Buriram looking for an opener against the Magic Squad.
There is a sleeper team though, and that is Magic Squad. We haven't talked about them much, but they're fighting WAG on the side right now. EXPS somehow making it through with 2 members remaining, but PokerStar just absolutely dunks on them to pick up the rest. It's 10 eliminations for PokerStars.
Good gatekeeping from the Indonesian squad as they look for not more, but everything in this lobby. Magic Squad have an advantage here against WAG. WAG has to get off of that roof in the next few seconds. 25 seconds is what they have to work around with. In the meantime, Magic Squad needs to barricade all of those entrances, but they don't want to wait on ceremony. They start things off by lobbing those grenades up on top of the roof.
Good move from MGS, but you gotta also keep that resources in check, right? Because you can't claim anything from WAG, even if you take them down. And again, they're starting to receive some pressure from the side of BRU as well. That is a lot of utility being expanded by Magic Squad. Maybe the best way is to do it the old-fashioned way. Jonah actually gets sniped by GU, so Magic Squad also paying some attention to the members of BRU. Grenade flying out, but not enough. WAG now are going to storm the building. Dolphin showing up, but Cyrus will go down first. GU holding the fort just nice, brings the teammate back up. GU taking pressure, but able to get away with the Tatsuya as they start advancing.
Yeah, great play on terms of the defense. WAG peeling away from the players of Magic as well. Buriram on the other hand, they won the compound out of Magic Squad. A good grenade launcher, and it will meet Yago. Claimed by the cluster. Wasana needs to back away. Another cluster drops Bob 7 down on the ground, and it looks like Magic's not going to get the booyah this time round. PokerStars back away. Buriram looking to hunt them down as well.
PokerStars, they do have the man advantage right now. Those 11 eliminations with Buriram in front of them. This is the fight that they have to win. An attempted
the vending machine
from 18 Deer. There's a vending machine right in front, but can BRU get to them though? Yes, they can. Jonah with the revive, but Wasana might just be a free point. And look at WAG taking advantage of the space. The amount of territorial control that they have right now is insane, but they gotta keep the formation in check. Working on BRU first. Cyrus with the first. Moshi gets brought back in instantly, and Get High actually finds elimination on the 18 Deer. But WAG will provide a helping hand to PokerStars. The Ghost though, unfortunately, getting backstabbed by PokerStars. Cyrus drops down. The Ghost gets back up. Wasana still alive.
Wasana picked himself right back up. Fires MKS on the other hand getting tagged up from the back. Wasana doesn't take that knockdown for himself. Buriram still alive and kicking with one final survivor, but WAG looking for him. Krillin can't find the guy just yet. Mochi up on top in a 1v2. Can he pull this off? Krillin says hell no, and WAG walk away with a booyah.
Yeah, Mochi touched down after the revive, only to give one extra point to WAG. And what a sign of relief at this team. I did have them in my prediction, and it was on Nextera, and good God, they stood up for themselves. Finally.
Not just for themselves, but they also stood up for Vietnam, right? We've been waiting for the Vietnamese teams to really step it up and grab that booyah. So WAG, they're going to wave their country's flag up high. The players feeling very happy with themselves, but that was an incredibly messy game. It wasn't a case of WAG having a smooth sailing path into that final circle. They had to navigate multiple teams, but they somehow did it.
It's just one would think there is no method to the chaos, but there actually is, and WAG played this really, really well. Initial drop that went towards Farmtopia, very much close towards the center of the map, and they didn't really have to travel all that too much. When they did want to travel, all they did was focus on the looting and not on those early engagements like some of these other teams like RRQ.
One of the biggest obstacles for WAG in that final sequence was MGS, right? It was either Magic Squad or WAG, and Magic Squad were the one who drew the shorter end of the sticks. And credits to Magic Squad, they actually played that as well as they could, right? They were able to get away from WAG, but they ran into Buriram instead. So WAG, they just found the right conditions for them to not only not have to deal with Magic Squad, but put themselves in such a position that BRU and PokerStars take care of themselves.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say as well, right, Poker did a lot of the work for WAG in getting rid of Magic Squad, because we saw the two teams, they were basically trying to scramble to get in. And then Poker stuck their nose in where it didn't belong and really helped them out going into that late game. So if it wasn't for Poker, I actually think this would have not have been a booyah for WAG.
I mean, all of that chaos definitely helped them out, and of course WAG were the ones to finally take those bullets and put it through the backs of the Buriram players who could not find the revivals quick enough. And when you wanted Moshi to find those clutch plays, unfortunately, the guy got revived just moments before, so didn't have the loot to usually dance around his opponents like he usually does. But WAG will be thanking them for that run. 15 eliminations, and the Booyah means a lot of points to climb the ladder.
That's a big bump of points for this
Yeah.
team, right? Because WAG, do we know up until this point, well, what's that point average across rounds? Because we really haven't seen WAG really perform today.
On Nextera, this is one of their better maps. So they managed to pull away an average of 15 points from Nextera usually. So this was a very, very good round.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's also slight good news for Magic Squad because this is one of the few rounds that CGG didn't get to play much, right? And
Yes.
Magic Squad made it, I believe, what, top 4?
Yeah.
So right now they are currently ahead of CGG,
Yes.
right? But if what happened yesterday happened again, then CGG might finish first. But I want to hear what WAG has to say after winning this round.
An electrifying performance in round 5, and as always, winner take the spotlight. Welcome WAG Dolphin! First booyah in this point rush stage, right? WAG is not performing very well in the point rush stage. Do you think your team needs to change the strategy to become the champion in the finals?
Trong 2 ngày của vòng tăng tốc vừa qua thì team mình chưa thể hiện được tốt lắm. Thì em nghĩ là team có cần phải thay đổi chiến thuật hay thế nào không để có thể làm tốt hơn vào vòng chung kết ngày mai?
Dạ, team em đang thăm dò thực lực của các đối thủ khác để xem chiến thuật của các đối thủ như thế nào để em bắn vòng chung kết sẽ khác hẳn như bây giờ.
We're making the strategies based on other teams' performance, and we will do better at the finals.
Right, and who is the best rusher in Free Fire World Series 2023 in your opinion and why?
Em nghĩ ai và team nào là đội làm tốt nhất trong vòng tăng tốc và vì sao?
Dạ, em nghĩ là Lao, vì Lao có những chiến thuật mới cạnh tranh với khu của em.
He thinks it's a loud team because they have similar strategies to their team.
Right, and in your opinion, which team is the weakest team right now and why?
Em nghĩ đội nào đang là đội yếu nhất và tại sao?
Dạ, đã vào được đây 12 team nào cũng mạnh nên các đối thủ đang giấu bài nên không biết team nào yếu được.
Once they are here, then all teams are strong. So we don't know that who is the weakest one.
Right, and lastly, anything you'd like to say to your enemies before going to the grand final tomorrow?
Đôi lời nhắn gửi đến các đối thủ của mình trước khi vào vòng chung kết.
Các đối thủ hãy chuẩn bị rất tinh thần, tụi mình sẽ đơm bất ngờ đấy.
Please brace yourself for our surprises.
Right, woo! We have to see you for tomorrow, but first, congratulations and best of luck. Exiting round 5 with anticipation for the final match in this point rush stage. Which team will become the final winner? Stay tuned to find out. But right now, passing it on to the shoutcaster.
Congratulations yet again to WAG for putting Vietnam on the map with the first booyah for this region in the point rush stage. But of course, it's not the end for this region because of course the grand finals are going to be tomorrow. That's the main stage that we've all been waiting for. But before that, we've got one more map to go, gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
And it's the random map. And even up until this point, the players, the casters, nobody knows what this map is going to be. So once we find out, we will be able to at least have an idea as to who's going to have an advantage and whether or not this is going to influence the top performing teams moving forward, right? Because at the moment, Magic Squad have managed to reclaim first place. They want to keep it that way. CGG, of course, they want to try and take that back if possible. Is the map going to be a big deciding factor for these two teams? In the meantime, though, elimination leaders Wusana going to be securing first place with 8 eliminations for the team. But when it comes to MVP, it's actually going to be Krillin from WAG.
In between MGS and CGG, I think it definitely is a deciding factor, right? Again, Magic Squad have been absolutely consistent on Alpine, but of course the spotlight on Krillin this game. It's been a long time coming. We haven't seen this man for quite a while, considering that his name is one of the more special names, right? If you watch Dragon Ball Z, which I don't, but I know who Krillin is.
Yeah, one of the weaker characters.
Whoa.
Okay, I didn't say that.
It's the truth. It's the truth. But of course, in the game of Free Fire, he's one of the stronger characters as far as the Vietnamese team of WAG is concerned. 2,633 average damage as well as 7 eliminations from this game out of 8 knockdowns. That's a great amount of stats to walk in here with.
All right, moving forward, here are the standings for the round that has just cleared, with WAG taking home 27 points. That's going to be a big boost for this team, as they haven't managed to pick up too much in any of their games today. Pogo Stars, they will be able to at least keep their place with 21 points. We saw 19 as well. Towards the bottom of the leaderboard, though, Ffws, this was the leader before this round, only 2 points. So Magic Squad have basically guaranteed themselves that first place, but by how much?
Probably not a lot, I think. You can easily surpass it in one round. I think that's sort of what happened yesterday, right? That's why the difference between these two teams was just 2 points by the end of it. Right now, MGS, they have a 5-point lead, but we all know Ffws, they get a good round, they can definitely overtake Magic Squad. But that's also on the assumption that Magic Squad bombs out early, which was what happened in round 6 yesterday.
And this is once again, you know, a case in point as to how Point Rush actually makes a huge impact on the world stage, right? You see, even at this point, one game, I mean, just 8 points, 6 points could make a world of difference between who takes away 300,000 USD and who takes away 150,000 USD. So if this happens tomorrow, of course, Point Rush is going to really check out. But the teams that are lying dormant, teams like EXPS, teams like Buriram, teams like Magic Squad, who I think can do much, much better, they stand a good chance of leaving everybody else in the dust if they wake up tomorrow. Because that's what they really haven't showed up.
Yeah. It looks like we are ready to finally reveal our final map of the day. So let's have a look and see who is going to be laughing and who might be crying with this final map selection. It is going to be Alpine.
And Magic Squad is going to be smiling ear to ear. Of course, the previous Booyah Husky was taken by them. And it looks like yesterday's Booyah was taken by them. Maybe today it's another Booyah at Alpine to make them the kings of the map.
I'm gonna throw in a butt here, gentlemen. Okay. We've seen multiple times where final maps being influential, crucial maps for certain teams, absolutely flopping on their signature maps when they needed those points the most. So Magic Squad, I know they're going to be breathing a sigh of relief, but I do suspect there will be some teams eyeballing Magic Squad and thinking, okay, we kind of have to take these guys out of the picture early.
So this is exactly where doing your homework comes into play. If you are CGGG, clearly you stand to win the most with Magic Squad getting taken out. So, you know, when you want to get something done right, you get the job done yourself. If Magic Squad wants to be found, if CGGG wants to be the team that finds them, all they need to do is fly into Stadium.
You know what you have to do here, Husky? You give RRQ a call because you know they're going to hot drop somebody. And you're kind of praying they hot drop the right person
Don't worry, RRQ is way too busy with the Vietnamese teams. They have their hands full.
Well, I mean, it kind of depends, right? So do we have the stats for who RRQ hot dropped on Alpine?
GOW.
GOW at base camp.
Most of the times they hot drop GOW.
So what would be the plan here for RRQ? Because they are pretty high up on that leaderboard. They kind of want to grab points themselves. Like, would you take the risk and hot drop one of the top teams, or would you continue to hot drop some of the lower ranked teams that you're comfortable actually CQCing with?
Or you just choose a drop spot that is near the teams that you want to potentially challenge, right? In this case, you can go Sunside because it opens up GOW, it opens up Railroad, which is literally unoccupied. And if you really want to challenge, you can go towards Militia and take on EXPS and Loud.
Yeah. All right, we've got our predictions on the screen. I mean, I'm not surprised that Husky and I have Magic Squad on ours. AJ and I, we both have Expand. We know this team in particular, they should be able to perform, but I mean, I still kind of have my doubts. I mean, Expand has been pretty flat today.
I mean, I am not complaining at all because this is the best form we have seen MCPS on the world stage ever. They are not at the bottom of the leaderboard. And that's already great because all of the rest of the times, MCPS Malaysia, they have been smack dab at the very bottom.
And
so
also,
great stuff out of Expand.
Yeah, and to add on to that, they are actually still in 6th place.
Correct.
Right? Yesterday they ended in 6th place as well. Right now they're still in 6th place, and if they can maintain that, I think that's good enough. And also, you look at that track record, they played 2 majors this year, right? Season 5 champions, FFSI, champions from the bottom.
Correct.
And the season 6 major, champion again. So I
Yeah.
think this is definitely a way better improvement internationally compared to what we've seen
Yeah.
on the SCA Invitationals.
Exactly. All right, it looks like our players, they're almost ready to go. We've just got to wrap up this final game. And I'm kind of wondering for some of these teams, right? It's been a long play day, right? We've played 5 games of Free Fire. We're on to our 6th round. And I think there's always going to be that challenge of fatigue, right? Like, are these teams, how are they going to maintain their energy levels? Like, I know some people are drinking energy drinks. I know some of them are meditating and praying. Some of them are trying to hype each other up with shouts. I know in particular the Brazilian teams, they love to do that. We're always hearing it on broadcast.
Yeah.
Who are our high energy teams so far? And I mean, we're seeing EXPS just sort of fine, you know, Dude's pretty happy.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my goodness. Are those, yeah, the makeup is coming off. The one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is that the players, they all, I mean, they
Wear makeup.
wear makeup, right?
Yes.
I mean, they're given makeup to look good on camera, but you can also see...
What are you trying to say? Without makeup, they look bad on camera?
No, they look better. Okay, it doesn't
Wait,
help.
what?
You are
Doesn't-
just getting yourself into...
Doesn't help me with the case. I'm just saying. Honestly, I didn't know that either until Dew started wiping his face with the tissue. But
Until Dew's face started coming off on the tissue.
Actually, to be fair, I didn't realize the players were wearing makeup. I actually
Yeah.
thought they just looked like this. So, the more you know. I mean, I knew in some scenes like they do wear makeup, but I wasn't sure in Free Fire if that was the case with the team. So,
Yeah, the makeup team just needs to step up their work, get
Hey.
some water-soluble makeup, you know. It's, sorry,
it-
not water-soluble makeup, waterproof makeup.
Waterproof.
Sweat-proof makeup.
sweatproof.
I know it's a thing.
do they exist?
They do.
Yes. And it's very hard to take off. I'm going to tell you that.
Amen.
Experience.
Which
That's
is
exact. You put it on day 1 of week 3 and you don't need to reapply makeup until the grand finals is over.
I'm pretty sure that's not really what you want to do.
Not
I mean,
really
of course,
that great for
that'll
your
include
skin.
not taking a shower.
No, if it's waterproof, even if you shower, it won't really come off.
It comes off a little bit, no?
A tiny bit, but it's like you got to really scrub. Like, that's not good for your face.
I mean, clearly Jonah Jonah
Man's
went
flawless.
for the makeup, not
Leave
the
him
blotter.
alone. Flawless.
He needs a blotter, not
He needs a
makeup.
blotter.
He needs a what?
Blotter. You don't know what's a blotter?
No.
This man
It's
has
that-
not been
it's
around
that blue
makeup.
tissue kind of plasticky thingy where you blot your nose.
It soaks up
That
oils.
absorbs oil.
Oh, that's what you call it?
A blotter.
A blotter?
Yes, a blotter.
I learned
Yes.
something new.
I think
Amen.
our viewers are also learning that the players are wearing makeup.
Except the Brazilians. No, the Brazilians definitely.
Honestly,
have
no,
makeup on.
I'm looking at the Brazilians, like, I've seen, well, from what I've seen anyway, their skin looks flawless. Like, I don't think this...
Have you seen Mexico? Have you seen Bobs? Have you seen Mexico? Have you seen Yago? Man, these guys are flawless. I mean, all of them
Beautiful.
are beautiful people.
All right, it looks like we are ready to jump into our final map of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It is Alpine, and we know that Magic Squad is rearing to go. They want to keep that first place away from C-Triple-G. So their goal today is either to grab that Booyah or to eliminate target number 1. Can C-Triple-G overcome this potential obstacle? Who is RRQ going to hot drop? And are we maybe potentially looking at a underdog Booyah? Because we have seen that multiple times happen, especially with these random maps.
C-Triple-G takes Blueville. Magic Squad takes Stadium. If C-Triple-G wants Magic Squad spot, perhaps they might want to take Stadium. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the flight path has to say for us, because the flight path might just force some hot drops that were not intended.
It potentially could, right? Because the flight path, if it's not favorable for your team, especially if it's for your drop point,
Yeah.
you have to change.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure how these teams sort of prep for these circles. Like, I assume at this point everyone has to have a sheet of paper with them that shows, okay, this is where these teams generally drop. Could you imagine someone's going into the tournament and they're like, all right, guys, someone's trying to compete with us at our drop point.
Yeah.
Where do we go? I can't imagine they're just guessing. Oh, quick, guys, we've got to go here instead. Like, you have to have a contingency plan.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Right?
I was about to say that I would not
I
be
would not be
surprised.
surprised.
Danny.
Like,
I really think the teams are going to have to be prepared for this. Like, come on.
Not everybody prepares for the
I
exam.
mean, even if they do, it still comes down to what does the team or the shot caller decides at the very end, right?
I guess so,
I mean,
yeah.
That's kind of like the
I mean, if the shot
Ooh.
caller is calling something else apart from what's on paper, then you need to slap that shot caller.
Yeah, but the point is the decisions also depends on, for example, the flight path, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to kind of make a switch if you see someone trying to hot drop you? In this case, there's a good chance we see some contest. The Magic Squad is already heading to a
smart play.
stadium. They also have Butzin going over to Vantage. I think that's great. Bob's going northeast, the north side, close to base camp as well. So
Yeah.
safe to say that Magic Squad covers a lot of ground and they're not contested.
Yeah, Magic Squad kind of foresaw that they might get hot dropped here by teams like CGGG who want the good start, and they take a split drop in 3 different locations. So this might be a good and a bad, but the blessing here for a player on the side of Magic that has hot dropped here at base camp is the fact that GOW has got a little bit of company. Instead of RRQ, Expand shows up, but Crime MKS eats the first grenade out of the Drogon.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it, right? No armor, no defense.
Is
The
it God?
Shogun eats through you. He's a God. Nope. Can't win it so far. For the reason cannot get it in time. Thankfully, Cobra able to save his team. Dian also goes down. Cobra pulling some waste for Expand.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He gets the Sonya activated, but confirms the knockdown, so he has got full HP right back on his side. GOW versus Expand, a 2-for-2 trade thus far. Expand still can't take this, but the question is, do you want to play that risky maneuver? Di Kwang backs away. Wally's gonna be claimed by Cobra. And it looks like Axel is in position to back him up. In the meantime, Loud faces off against WAG as a full team revival comes through. WAG snuffs out the Brazilians.
2 rounds in a row where WAG and Lao share the same draw spot, and WAG wipes the floor with them.
And, you know, this is just because Loud refuses to walk away. This is where ego comes into play, and ego is not your good friends, Mr. Loud.
You can see the same for Poco Stars as well. The whole team getting completely washed by CGGG.
Oh, yeah.
This is great for CGGG as well, right? They've got that extra point, so it's already something on the leaderboard for them. I kind of want to see what's happening with Magic Squad here. Have they gotten a very quiet drop point? And so far, Bop's not going to be too happy with that one.
I really disagree with the decision made by Magic Squad here to go for a 3-way split. A 2-way split, sending 1 survivor into Vantage, makes sense for me. There is a vending machine there that they can use to purchase their players back if things do go south at their usual drop spot of Stadium. But sending 1 player towards base camp as well was a little bit of an overkill, which I think is playing against them. And now with the UAV being sent out, EXPS has an advantage as they chase down Yago, the sniper of Magic Squad.
This is not good news.
Uh-oh.
They might just try to run him over. He will get under the bridge, but it's a commitment. Well, there it is.
Oh, what a driving
2-way
skill.
pincer. Yago didn't stand a chance. He does get a knock on to Caramel, but unfortunately, no confirmation.
They get a trade onto each other, but Yago has no friends to back him up, and that is what happens when you split up apart so early in the game. Magic Squad, they had an opportunity to finish in the #1 spot, but just that one missed call in terms of decision being made at the very start of the game is playing against them, and it looks like EXPS is not giving them a break. Butzin going to be next on the menu.
They see Butzin for sure. There's no running away. You gotta somehow try and win this. Butzin goes onto the 2nd floor, but this time backup will be around. Maybe in the front of GOW as well. Stop goes in for the chase. Let's have the Tatsuya dash holding onto it. Butzin on the ground floor as well, but unfortunately only has a double pump shotgun. Not much ammunition in the tank. You can see that he is going to use the Tatsuya dash to reposition. Playing ring around Roses, run straight into Caramel. Needs to win this one.
Oh my god.
Lovely work from Butzin. A 1v2. And this man keeping himself alive and pulling the weight.
Absolutely. Now he's got enough money to buy Bob's back as well. So big play by Butzin. EXPS will have to back away from this engagement. The vending machine right in front of Butzin to make that play. Peter, on the other hand, finds Lozzie as CGGG goes up against Thorad. Bob's is purchased back by Butzin. So Magic Squad is all Gucci once again.
One more. Not really checking his corners. David just goes for the absolute spray now. Koskil finding Norv, but Norv is going to dip in and out of the corner. Koskil this time not going to be baited. And they are none the wiser. Thorad out in 10th.
Unfortunate for Thorad. Fusion, CGGG, who usually drops in Blueville, thought that this was a blessing for them. Fusion is right beside their usual drop spot. They move there, and they come across the team of Poco Stars, eat them up. And CGGG just got a freebie right after that. EXPS, on the other hand, surviving with just Casper and View. Magic Squad, both of them are fighting for the revival point.
And this is going to be huge because Dio is on the flank. Yago already taking some damage, and Gio gets himself into a 1v1 against Casper. You gotta win this fight. It's Casper's inhaler turns around the corner. Gio doesn't have much help to work with. Gio needs to win this fight. Casper outmaneuvering GU, and Casper wins out that 1v1.
Also, it was a gun factor there. The Mac-10 going up against the Mini Uzi. Mac-10 so much more deadly early game in a CQC. But EXPS doesn't break a sweat. Stop and Caramel purchased right back here to face off against Magic Squad, who are now outnumbered. Bob7, Yago, as well as Butson. Yago, no sniper to play around with this time, but has the AUG, which is great for this mid to long range engagement.
I don't think Yago can do too much though. Look at all the tags from the Trogon. Dude is showing up as well.
Oh, bye-bye.
Just a quick fire rate. Easy spray. Yago ends up dropping. So all that effort from GU nullified right now. From Butson nullified, unfortunately. And GS back to square one.
I mean, I don't even know if this is square one for Magic Squad. This is like -5 at this point. This team is going to have to try and figure out how to reset the round, because if they continuously keep having to revive, their inventory is not going to look very good, especially when the circle starts to get much smaller. Like we've seen Magic Squad, they're a macro team. They need to macro. And if you're constantly reviving, you're just not going to have anything on you to give you that advantage.
And I hope this actually serves up as a fantastic lesson for not just Magic Squad, but the rest of the teams out there. It never pays to go on a three-way split. I have never seen a team to go on a three-way split, come back and take the booyah as well. It's not impossible, but it's such a disadvantage.
And just put themselves in a horrible spot, right? Because the advantage, they're starting to tank the blue, and I know it's the first blue, but you look at the travel distance, the grounds that MGS needs to cover, and that's not including the fact that they still have not gotten Yago back into the game.
Yeah, they don't have enough money. They've got that vending machine there. The revival platform, I believe, can be used.
It should be.
Yago should have been brought back already. There's no way they don't use that platform.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't use it to begin with.
Nah,
Unless
I think he's back.
He's either back or they didn't have enough health kits, because health packs. Because
the first circle tickles you. It doesn't do anything.
Look, if you've got no health packs, you kind of don't want to risk it as well. That's assuming they don't have it. Like, we can't see their inventory, so we really don't know. But
X-Ban uses the Dinoculus. GOW has a full squad revival, so that's great for the Vietnamese squad. Another Vietnam team right in front of us, Esports, hanging around the outside region, looking if they can gatekeep anybody who's trying to make their way into the circle. X-Ban, on the other hand, are going for a chase, and it looks like they spotted out Di Quang, and they are going to meet him halfway down the line. Di Quang, say hello! Manages to get away in the nick of time.
And guess who is around the corner? It's MGS.
Uh-oh, run boys.
And yes, they're gonna back up this time. They do not want smoke with Expand.
They want God of Wolf instead. They're just gonna keep on chasing.
Expand is just hunting for points off of GOW, and although this is cheeky, it is gonna give them an advantage. I don't know if or not it is gonna punish them, but with Magic Squad circling around.
There goes Bops.
It's time to run Expand.
Man, they cannot outrun the EXP.
They forced Magic to stop instead.
Oh no, Magic might be facing yesterday's repeat of the result, man. Here comes the full rush. Bustin actually finds the first knock, but he gotta do way more than that, and unfortunately too fast will find the shutdown. Magic Squad might meet an early end right now. It's up to GU. He's trying to go for the drive away, but it's a bit too slow. The Vigo is already smoking GU against Cobra.
No.
Not much health left in the tank. Cobra just toying with his spray right now. GU down to his last legs, and Cobra, he's gonna finish the job. Crime MK has come in with the secure, and Magic Squad one small falls at the finishing line.
This is Expand at their very best, baby. 7 eliminations already, and they are on the hunt. Even Magic Squad couldn't put a stop to them. Magic tried to get away, but Expand said, hell no, not today, not on our map of Alpine.
Man, Expand are looking to actually finish higher than 6 today. I think it is very possible with the way that they're playing, assuming that they don't fumble the ball somewhere.
Correct,
because it is very possible. Looking at some other teams, though, we do see RRQ. They're being fine. Look at this God of Wolf. Roadkill!
Dian down on the ground. Esports literally drove through him. Nero was getting tagged up by Dian, but it just didn't get the job done. But now Circle's going to continuously tag up the players on the side of PE Esports, but they can patch themselves right back up as they drive in towards the circle. 8 more teams alive with 31 players at the moment.
Yeah, so very crucial to take note that C-Triple-G has officially surpassed Magic Squad on the leaderboard once more. The second place curse still strong. I mean, Magic Squad, again, there's 2 days in a row they fall at the last round. The finishing line so close yet so far. Expander, like AJ mentioned, they're on a roll, and Axo just hunting down God of Wolf, GOW, completely preyed on.
See, at the end of the day, this is still a situation that Magic Squad, it's a pill that Magic Squad can swallow. Mainly because because of a mistake that they themselves made to split up. If they don't make these mistakes tomorrow, no problem.
I have a question here. So the only team that could potentially make it to first place is RRQ. But how far away is RRQ from that first place? Assuming C-Triple-G only finished the round with, let's say, 4 or 5 points.
RRQ is way too far away. In fact, Thorad is actually closer to that #1 spot. But
I believe Thorad's eliminated, right?
Yeah.
RRQ needs 22 points to tie.
Which is very difficult. Not impossible, but definitely difficult.
But if they tie, they win though, because they win in terms of Booyah, right? C-Triple-G, this is the fight that they need to win against BRU. One more actually gets picked back up. Can't say the same for BRU though. Jonah is already gone. One more goes back down once again. C-Triple-G gets an extra boost. Peter, the next to go. BRU looking for the cleanup. Peter needs help right now. Actually, gets himself back up in time, but Peter, can he survive this? Unfortunately, that is not possible. Wasana finds a confirm, and that's going to be Koskyo, the third on the menu. On fire, desperately needs to win this, and Beast Moshi down, but it's on fire against the rest of the world.
Sonia
Gets the Sonya, no reset, unfortunately, and C-Triple-G bites the dust.
My goodness, in 8th spot on top of everything else. So Magic Squad out, C-Triple-G out, and the only other team that can replace them in that #1 spot now is looking for the world on their side. Buriram might be able to do this, but they literally need every other life from this lobby.
Yeah, that's going to be a big ask, unless we're looking at a lot more revives.
Yeah.
So, unless that happens soon, I just don't think there's enough points in the lobby for them to actually farm. We'll have to see, though. EXPS going to have to deal with some shots coming out from WAG. They are slowly leapfrogging their players forward, but WAG are not advancing. They are actually hiding behind their glue walls. They are afraid to engage into EXPS. They're worried that they're going to overstep their boundaries. But EXPS, though, they will lose one player, but they did manage to get someone out of there.
Yeah, Casper got absolutely destroyed by the clusters on his feet as he was trying to kind of launch himself away. Still in stop. Left for EXPS, RRQ. The team with the best chance right now to overtake first place.
And RRQ are being attacked on 2 fronts as well. You got PE as well as EXPS. This is not a good time to be a RRQ fan.
EXPS is just going to try and make a detour towards the vending machine to get the teammates back. PE left to deal with RRQ, and it's actually PE earning a couple of points for themselves. RRQ left with just 1 member. And EXPS, they repositioned themselves in the circle.
PE Sports, on the other hand, in a little bit of a sticky situation. EXPS right in front of them. RRQ trying to vulture from the back, and EXPS stops on the way to snipe down Hao Ang, who plays his glue wall extremely well, but the Mini Uzi is not going to help him out as Stop pulls out the Drogon, but 2 players down. Stop now needs to get into the circle as Hao Ang gets taken out of the equation. Stop gets stopped, and EXPS out in 6th.
PE Sports starting to light up, but they are under fire. WAG once more having a massive round so far. 8 eliminations and still racking up more. New K being the 9th for their collection as BRU cleans up GOW.
So it might be a scenario where C-Triple-G has managed to do the unthinkable, walk away with 16 points off of Point Rush. I wonder, what can they make out of it tomorrow?
Pretty crazy, right? The rarest scenario. And that does speak of the consistency that they bring, despite having some underwhelming rounds towards the end of today, but they've done more than enough.
Oh my.
Razor losing his life, unfortunately. WAG, Dolphin, I believe, picking up the 10th elimination for his team.
Legalot holding on to at least play for placements here, but the whole squad of WAG all around them, and the only saving grace for him is the fact that Buriram has split off on 2 sides and is currently busy taking pot shots at WAG. That gives Legalot a little bit of breathing room. Yabe on the other side cleans house and stays alive for RRQ.
There might be an opportunity for RRQ, right? It's Abe and Legalov, the captain leading the Wonder Child. And BRU are busy dealing with WAG. This is very possible for RRQ Kazu.
yeah.
BRU now definitely needing a couple of these points. Cyrus dashes in into a 1v2. Son and Pau tries to look for the dash and reset, cannot get it. And Abe also takes out Dolphin in the process, so WAG quickly losing ground in this fight against BRU. But that means that BRU now have a massive advantage unless WAG can cause some damage. The Ghost is back up. Wasana with the dash, turns the corner, finds Krillin, puts out the glue wall, Get High gets dropped. But it's BRU coming out on top, getting the frags, and the Ghost turns his attention to take out Legolas and says that if I go down, RRQ, you go down with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But Abe down in the middle of the circle. Buriram looking to finish off goals, and they do exactly that, which means RRQ wins the second spot. Get High knock. He gets the confirmation onto Wasana as well. The pickup is there. Crazy stuff out of Abe single-handedly, but no confirmations on those knocks as Buriram walks away with their own booyah.
Not enough to finish first, but enough to boost them up in the standings for sure. But Abe almost pulling off a crime MKS from yesterday towards the end of this fight. But of course, WAG would have been a nice mosh pit to give RRQ Kazu the win. But at the end of the day, a second place finish is not too bad.
Not too bad. Get those points in. And get ready for the grand finals as well, right? Because we are done for today. We've got some confused players here, but I guess that's alright.
But I'm glad that at least today production is giving them cues as to when the camera is panning to them, because yesterday, as the camera spanned around, the players looked absolutely clueless that they were on camera.
How I wish that Moshi would just lift out his chain right when the camera is on, and that would be dope. That would be what I want to see. In fact, I hope they talk to Moshi.
I mean, they can talk to anybody, really.
Just so you can see his diamonds?
Just the diamonds.
Yeah, I want to see those bling blings.
What, the diamonds or the chain? I thought the chain was the cool part.
Maybe it's there's diamonds on the chain. I
don't know.
Like, I don't have that money.
Not yet.
Yet.
Yet is a big word.
Well, actually, I don't even think yet is part of our vocabulary.
You know, Moshi's only been to the world stage a couple of times. You've been to the world stage more than Moshi.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not playing, right? Like, they're putting me on the spot, and I mean, not sure who's listening into this, but I did not say anything.
What? Yes, definitely did not say anything at all.
I think AD just got me fired.
Possibly. I think there's a very good chance of that happening. Surely.
Buriram had a good finisher to Point Rush. It's just in terms of finishing strong, but on the overall grand scheme of things, nothing to shout about in the total number of points that they've picked up. And this is not even an example of Buriram being aggressive or Buriram going for a solid booyah for themselves, right? They were just wandering around. They took whatever eliminations and engagements that came their way. And what do you know, by the end of it, they were taking the booyah for themselves as well, without trying. And I emphasize that they were not trying. And not just them. There were quite a number of teams all throughout Point Rush who have not been as aggressive as they could have got.
Truly, I kind of think like the Buriram we saw here, at least for the final circle, like this is what we're going to be looking at tomorrow. Because they did seem to really, really coordinate that late game fight, right? Because before that, earlier today, sort of all over the place, trying different things out. Yeah, sure, it didn't work, but I guess it didn't influence them that much.
Yeah.
So Buriram, they're fine with the points. They're confident that they're going to be able to take the crown tomorrow, but we're going to have to let them do the talking because our interview session is ready to go. Let's hear what they have to say.
Exiting the final round with a burst of excitement. And joining me here is the final winner of this Point Rush stage. Give it up for Buriram United Esports Wasana. Congratulations! Are you satisfied with your team performance in the Point Rush stage and why?
พอใจกับผลงานของทีมตัวเองในรอบเก็บแต้มไหมคะ
ยังไม่พอใจเลยครับ ทำได้ดีกว่านี้อีกครับ
Not yet satisfied we can do it better
Right, and is it your plan to save strategy for tomorrow grand final?
อันนี้เราเก็บแผนสำหรับการไฟนอลพรุ่งนี้หรือเปล่าคะ
เดี๋ยวพรุ่งนี้รอดูครับ ผมมาเอาแชมป์
Keep an eye on us tomorrow we will bring the glory to Thailand
Wow, that confident. I mean, that confident, right? Are you confident that you are the best rusher in Free Fire World Series 2023 and why?
คิดว่าเราเป็นชาร์เจอร์ที่เก่งที่สุดใน Free Fire World Series ไหมคะ เพราะอะไร
คิดครับ เพราะผมโหด
Yes of course because I am pro
and very tough indeed, right? And can you predict who will be the champion of Free Fire World Series 2023?
คิดว่าใครจะได้แชมป์ในวันพรุ่งนี้คะ
ยังไงก็ต้องเป็นพวกผมอยู่แล้วครับ
Definitely บุรีรัมย์ United Esports
Wow, for the third time, right?
ครั้งที่ 3 ใช่ไหม
เป็นครั้งแรกของผมครับ
It's his first time
Right, so best of luck and I'll see you tomorrow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Give it up for Buriram United Esports Vasana. Right. A huge shout out to all the team for an excellent performance. Join us for tomorrow for the grand final showdown and the winner will be crowned champion. Before that, and best of luck to every team. See you tomorrow in the final showdown and the thrilling conclusion. Bye for now. Back to you, Shoutcaster.
Thank you so much, Owen. And yes, we are done with the point rush. 2 days of point rush. Teams are battling it out for the head start points for the grand final tomorrow. We are done. We are dusted. The points are locked in.
Can you
and
believe it?
we are down.
I can.
To
I was
the
waiting for
grand
this
final.
for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And it's done in 2 days.
Isn't it 3 weeks? Well, I guess, yeah, 2 weeks for point rush and then, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I can't math.
The new champion tomorrow, right?
Hey, one track mind, okay? We all want to know who's going to be the champion this year.
No, we all want to know whether or not Point Rush makes a difference for the teams tomorrow.
Like I said, right, it would only pay dividends when the points make like the most minuscule of difference. Like if it's a snowball effect, then it's just like, man, rather not have Point Rush.
Absolutely. But either way, thank you to whoever it is from the side of Garena who suggested this whole point rush system to be included on the world stage, because I think it's going to take the hype up to a whole other level. Now we've got teams that were not really favored to walk away with the championship, with the opportunity, or at least a little bit of a extra opportunity to walk away with the big trophy tomorrow, right? But at the very same time, we also have these other teams that were rumored to really dominate the competition, who will have to start on the back foot, equalize those points first, preferably on the first 2 matches in itself, and then run away with the rest of the day. Either way, I'm going to scream a lot.
We're going to scream a lot. We're going to have a lot of fun on the desk as well. I hope our viewers enjoy the games, because I think this is where the games are going to get really heated as well, because you have to give the games 110%. If you play the game and you end the round and you have regrets because you didn't do something, you can't turn back time. You have to put in your absolute best and be proud of what you do tomorrow, because it's going to go down in the history of Free Fire. You know, like you could be that guy that everyone remembers because you made that play.
Alternatively, you could also regret doing something. So you have to be really, really sure about what you want to do out there and how you want to approach tomorrow.
I mean, we played a whole year of Free Fire for tomorrow, right? And those 6 rounds is the only 6 rounds where too soon is very, very bad.
Oh, yeah,
in the group
yeah,
stage,
yeah.
it's fine. Just make top 12. Point rush, it's fine. You have grand finals. Grand
Yeah.
finals, it's not fine at all.
Never fine.
One round of 12 plays could end the entire run for you.
Yes.
1 year's worth of effort.
And many, many teams can get this done tomorrow. Even a team that is not the best from Brazil, even Loud, can have an explosive day tomorrow. Remember the first day where we saw Lost 21 just going absolutely ballistic, just taking shot after shot after shot. He was connecting with players who were not even in the same compound, and he was nicking away those points. I mean, the guy was insane, but that kind of petered off. But if, speaking of Peter, we'll come to him later. But but if that is the case tomorrow for Bermuda and it kind of stays on, we've got a massive showdown, right? And we've also got C-Triple-G with an on-form Peter who has been pretty lethal so far.
Yeah, you look at Brazil, right? We talk so much about Magic Squad wanting to redeem themselves after last year where they finished, finished 4th place, right?
Yes.
You also have to think about Loud, where 2 years ago they actually finished 2nd, and it was against Evil's Phoenix, currently BRU. And that time it was not even close. Like out of 6 rounds, Phoenix got 4 booyahs. In Marina Bay Sands, which was out of this world, and afterwards it was them against Attack all around, and then last year it was against K, and that was like a 2-point difference because Magic kind of ruined it for K. So this year, these 2 Brazilian teams are here for retribution, not just to redeem Brazil as a region, but they also have their own storylines to complete.
Well, I think we also have to talk about Indonesia as well, right? Because we have this like grudge match between Thailand and Brazil, but then Indonesia is going to be that dark horse, I believe. Like that's another region that wants to take the crown to surprise the competition, because I think there's going to be some advantage for a team, for a region, to not have a target on your back. right?
I mean, if Indonesia takes the crown, they would surprise even themselves. Let's just put it that way. Because it is a tough fight out there. And Thailand has always been the home of Free Fire for a good number of years for a fantastic reason. Because the quality out of the nation is untouched thus far. Of course, potential to change that tomorrow. Wasana walks away with the MVP of the elimination leaderboard, 7 on the side for Buriram.
Yeah, I think the craziest thing when you want to look at Indonesia as well was that RRQ did not play at the FFSI.
Correct.
Right. And only 2 out of the 4 teams that play with FFSI that were from Indonesia are here. And that's Poco Squad, formerly known as GRC Aphrodite. And you also have Thorad, which was First Raiders Eclipse. And let me tell you, First Raiders Eclipse finished 9th place in FFSI. And Poco Star finished 4th. The team that finished the best were More Squad, and they didn't even qualify.
Correct.
So Indonesia went through a revolution.
Yeah.
Is it enough to bring them a trophy? I think I have to agree with AJ. It's a tough climb.
But we could say the same for Thailand as well, because E-Arena, who won FFSI, is not even on the world stage. So that's a little bit of an unfortunate situation for E-Arena. But Buriram was, of course, smiling year to year, because as long as they don't have to deal with those boys, the chances of walking away a 3rd-time world champ, well, number 1 for Wasana, that's something that they'll be very, very happy with. But look at the team comp here. And A124 alongside 3 Tatsuyas. Buriram were looking to go super aggressive in that game, and it checked out.
When you take the best players from the 2nd place team from FFSI, I think you are set for greatness. But tomorrow is the final test, right? Whether this will finally pay off for BRU, because they did struggle a little bit in the off-season. But the off-season was also where Wasana just joined the team.
Correct,
so,
yes.
Again, if tomorrow pays off for BRU, I think they have, if not already proven themselves, they are going to be the greatest team in the world.
Well, to wrap things up today, ladies and gentlemen, the game standings for our last game of the day, 23 points going to Buriram United Esports, WAG taking home 18 points, 15 to EXP Esports, 13 to Expand and P Esports, and 12 points for RRQ Kazu. RRQ, they were honestly so close to being able to compete for that top 2 spot. Unfortunately, just coming up a little bit too short because they had a rough game. C-Triple-G on top, they managed to lock in those 9 points. God of Wolf with 9, 6 for Magic Squad, 5 for Thorad, and 0 for Poker Stars and Loud. Now,
wait,
actually,
that means Magic Squad got it.
Does
I think they got it.
Yeah, but I mean, hip hip hooray.
Yeah, I mean,
they've got 8 points. Let's see what they can do with it tomorrow.
Wait, no.
Buriram, what?
No.
What?
Not at all.
Dude, the second place finish. Again, I mean, Magic Squad came so close. Buriram had to pull this out of the pocket in the last round.
Thin air.
It's not like we have not seen this before, right? They did this literally last year against Brazil. And, and guess how many points they won with? 2 points.
And once again, this is exactly why this stage, Point Rush, which a lot of people were like, why are we playing for 8 points? This is why we are playing for 8 points, because it comes as close as this, and those few points is worth tens of thousands of US dollars. And if you're fighting between number 1 and 2, it's literally between 150K and 300K.
That Booyah changed everything for BRU, right? If they finish second, Magic Squad 100% first place. But at least for Magic Squad, they got 12 head start points tomorrow. C-Triple-G with 13. BRU has an 11-point head start.
1 and 2
No,
points.
Buriram should have 0 head start points because they're the 2-time world champs, okay?
You know what that means for BRU?
They should play with their hands tied behind their backs tomorrow for the first 3 games.
They essentially have already won 1 round.
Oh my god. No. Why did you people let Buriram get into the final circle? Now you're going to suffer tomorrow.
Oh no.
Man. It's a tough climb for Magic Squad for sure.
Not fun, man. Point.
Well, okay, hang on a minute. There is still that 1 and 2 point differential, right? Between C-Triple-G and Magic Squad, between them and Buriram, right? So if it comes down to a single or those 2 points, Point Rush may actually give either of these two teams the crown tomorrow, assuming that the games are close and Buriram don't run away with the competition.
Let me give you a simple example as to how that would be thrown out of the window.
I'm getting
so
flashbacks
throughout
from
the
last
whole
year.
day, we
PTSD.
saw two teams, C-Triple-G, Magic Squad, scream and run all around each and every single map. Buriram were quietly creeping around, and at the end of the day, they are at the #1 spot. So yeah, that's a preview for tomorrow.
I'm getting flashbacks from last year. I mean, remember what Moshi asked Bobs from Loud? Do you remember? Oh boy.
my gosh.
I think he's getting some very, very vivid flashbacks from last year.
True.
And the craziest thing was that, I mean, Magic Squad again, they finished 4th, right? It was K that finished 2nd. It came so close. And if you, let me picture this. BRU, Evo's Phoenix at that time, was sitting right beside K when they won the final round. And they knew they won before the scores were even tabulated. Can you imagine how heartbreaking that would be?
And this is the overall standing for the grand final. C-Triple-G in the #1 spot, Magic Squad in 2nd, and holy lord, Buriram United in the 3rd place, just 2 points behind C-Triple-G. This is a problem. But if tomorrow teams like EXPS go back on their massive fragging rounds, this can be traded out. This can be equalized in just Bermuda alone. But that's going to be heavily dependent on some big fights for EXPS.
And also well, not GOW, also the Vietnamese teams, right? These hot drops, are they going to keep it up? And if they do, are they going to start winning some of those hot drops?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty surprised that Vietnam hasn't gotten super aggressive just yet. They are a very capable region, but I think they are playing chicken at the moment, right? They're shying away from greatness. If they just step out of their comfort zone and take the fight to some of these other teams, I think Vietnam is going to smile walking away from tomorrow.
But I think they're going to need that motivational pep talk, right? Before
Unfortunately for them,
those
I'm
kinds
not
of
there.
plays. Unfortunate for them, apparently.
Unfortunate.
Well, I mean, you could have given advice to
I'll
everybody.
walk
so
into
then
room after room, breaking down doors like, you, step it up tomorrow!
I think you'll scare them and they might underperform, unfortunately. But good thing that we're not there because AJ is not going to harass the players. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on the desk today. Viewers, come back tomorrow. It's Grand Final Sunday. Until then, see you next time.